over for one of the classiest, most brilliant, most beautiful to watch athletes of all time. Fed will always be my favorite of this big three, and I think a lot of people will feel that way.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg, weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio, and watch exclusively on ESPN Plus.
WYNG 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local.
What are you gonna miss? He struck him up.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WYNG studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Well, I'm supposed to be going to the Reds game tonight. I'm supposed to be getting in the car immediately following the show and booking it down to Cincinnati to catch at least maybe the second inning. But I might actually, if I leave right after work, I should get there in time to be able to park, find my seat, eat, drink 5 beers, and be there in time for the first inning, because I don't think this game's starting on time. I don't even know the game's going to be played tonight. Idea? It's too sunny out. I heard that it's too hot and muggy out, but there you go. So, no, be careful out there if you're out driving around and find yourself stuck in this mess. I know there's just going to be pop-up thunder. I mean, look, I'm not a weatherman, okay? And if I get it wrong, then I'm just like every other weather person out there. So, but there's going to be pop-up storms for the remainder of the night, so just be careful for those of you out and about driving around. But we appreciate you hanging out with us here on a Friday. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. We are a week away from the TBT on WING, by the way. The TBT is officially underway. Technically, you can watch all 64 teams in action on ESPN's family of networks, but we are fortunate here at 1410 Wing AM to be able to not just carry, but actually broadcast the games ourselves live from the Covelli Center next weekend. Carmen's Crew Friday night, and then Red Scare on Saturday, and then Carmen's Crew and the Red Scare, not against one another, but they will both be in action back-to-back games a week from this Sunday. You can catch all of those right here on 1410 Wing AM. Myself and Norm Greavy will be on the call for that. But yeah, this is quite the weather for the start to the second half of the season for the Redlegs.
Yeah, quick question about the TBT. Since you're calling the game up in Columbus, are you staying up in Columbus?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, night out on the town in the CO. I like it. Okay, that's all.
Columbus is boring. I'm just joking. There's plenty to do. Plenty to do in Columbus. All right, so with the Reds kicking the second half of the season off tonight, hopefully, I wanted to kind of take a deep dive into my projections for the second half. Now, with that being said, take a look. For those of you live on Facebook and live on YouTube, back when the season started in April, I gave my projections on what I thought the Cincinnati Reds would look like in 2021. I said roughly about a 500 ball club. I said they would finish 85-77. I said that they would go 47-43 in the first half of the season. I was slightly off. The Reds are 48-42. I said they'd go 14-11 in the month of April because they haven't had a winning April since 2014. Well, that streak does continue. But the Reds right now are rolling, and really they have so much going against them. They have so much going against them. All right, they don't have a shortstop. They have one of the worst bullpens in baseball. Okay, the injuries galore. I mean, there's so much working against this team that it's like, how in the hell are they 6 games above 500? How are they 4 games back of their division, a division that is historically and traditionally very competitive? One thing I'm going to talk about here in a moment, I think that the Reds are on pace to win about 90 games if they pick up where they left off. The Reds haven't won 90 games since 2013. They won 90 games in 2013, and that was good enough to finish third in the NL Central. 90 games might win it this year. 90 wins might win it this year for the Cincinnati Reds if they can get to that point, and I think that they're set up in good position to do so. But let's take a look. Here is, for those of you watching live on YouTube and Facebook, here are my second half projections as far as I'm concerned. I believe that, look, I predicted the Reds right now 48-42 at the All-Star break. And look, for those of you watching, I'll kind of help you guys out here a little bit. There we go. Now we're cooking with something here, right? Like now we can kind of see everything that's going on. So the Cincinnati Reds 48-42 at the All-Star break. Okay, I projected 47-43, not too bad. Now, as far as my second half projections are concerned, I have them finishing about 45-27 in the second half. You take a look at everything that's going on around them right now, and at least what's coming up. Very tough stretch coming out of the break. You got your division leading Milwaukee Brewers, very good Mets team for 3 at GABP. You got 3 with the Cardinals. Now, I would have told you about a month ago that following that homestand to have 4 straight games at the Cubs would have been a disaster. But the Cubs have already shipped off Jock Peterson, so they've already started the fire sale. There's been reports all day that, we could see Anthony Rizzo on the move, Chris Bryant on the move, that really nobody is necessarily safe in that Cubs organization, that it's a complete overhaul that they are looking to start here in the near future. So that 4-game stretch with the Cubs at Chicago, it seems like it's a little bit of a softer blow. I have them finishing the second half of the season in July at 10-5. I have them going 17-12 in the month of August. Some tough series in there, or at least what I thought would be some tough series heading in, because mainly you have, Chicago, the Cubs, but they're about to be battling it out with Pittsburgh to finish last in the NL Central. Then you look at the fact that they do have, road trip to Atlanta. They're playing at Philly. That could be a tough split stretch right there. But Atlanta, without Ronald Acuna Jr., they've taken a step back, and that could be a concern for Atlanta, but they did try to address their outfield, of course, by acquiring Jock Peterson from the Chicago Cubs, so we will see how that actually does take care of the hole that was created due to the season-ending injury to Acuna Jr. right before the All-Star break. They do have the makeup game with Cleveland on the 9th, a big series at Philly, more home games with the Cubs, and they have 4 with the Marlins. The Reds actually have a very favorable schedule in the second half. They don't have a lot of tough series in the second half. They don't have a lot of big, they don't have a lot. I think actually the toughest stretch for the Reds in the second half of the season is this one right here, coming right out of the gate. 3 with Milwaukee, 3 with the Mets, 3 with St. Louis, and 4 with the Chicago Cubs. And then 3 more at the Mets right after that. I think this is the toughest stretch right out of the gate to start things off in the second half. But then you have a lot of games at Pittsburgh coming up, a lot of games with the bad Cubs. You got a lot of games with the Marlins. So there's a lot of winnable series coming up. And what I do love is that if the Reds find themselves in a tough battle of the division to close out the regular season, in the final 2 weeks of the season, they have 6 games with the Pittsburgh Pirates in the final 2 weeks of the season. They have 9 total games with the Pirates to close out the last 3 weeks of the season. So if they find themselves in a situation where they are battling it out with the Brewers at the top of the NL Central, they're done with the Brewers here in just about 2 weeks. They have the series now. They have a road series coming up. And that series with the Brewers, their matchups with the Brewers will be done. So while the Brewers are battling it out with the Cardinals down the stretch, they have some tough Mets series down the stretch. They have some tough games. While the Brewers are battling those guys out, the Reds have the Pirates. Now, they do have the Dodgers late. They do at least have them at home because the Reds have been garbage on the road in the West Coast. That is no secret. But, man, they also have Detroit in that September month. 9 games at Pittsburgh in September. They do have 2 tough series against the Dodgers in Washington, but at least they have those series at home. So, as I mentioned, the Reds are in a prime position right now to finish about 93-69. Nice. 93-69 is my projected final record for the Reds. The Reds have not won 90 games since 2013. Now, the one reason that I'm giving the Reds a lot of opportunity and credit here is because of the fact that when you look at how weak the division is this year, that's helping them a long way. I think that the Reds playing as well as they are in the division, taking a step back this year, is what has really kind of thrown a wrench in the plans of the front office in regards to what they wanted and planned to do. You look at the Cubs doing a fire sale. The Pirates started their rebuild last year. The Cardinals are that fringe team. Milwaukee's always the team that nobody's paying attention to. But if you are the Cincinnati Reds, the Cardinals are average. The Cubs are about to blow the whole thing up. The Brewers are beatable. I mean, you've dominated the division going back to the tail end of last season. I think the Reds want to hit the reset button, but at the same time, they're playing too good a baseball against their division. This division, historically, is not this bad. It's never been more winnable than what it is right now for the Cincinnati Reds. They have to be the aggressors, not just the guys on the field, but the guys in suits up in the front office. They have to be as aggressive as the players down on the field. They have to be as aggressive as David Bell managing this team. That's going to be what's key to the second half run here. But when the Reds won 90 games the last time they won 90 games back in 2013, as I said, 90 wins got them third in the division. Third. They win 90 games this year. They're winning the division. That's what makes them vulnerable too. The last time the Reds won the NL Central was back in 2012, and it took 97 wins to win the division back in 2012. And keep in mind, the one thing that I do find interesting, Kev, sorry, I'll bring it in a second, but I wanted to look at they were plus 112. When the Reds won the division in 2012, they were plus 112 run differential. When they won 90 games in 2013 and they finished third, they had a plus 81 run differential. Right now, if the Reds keep on this pace and finish at about the 93 win mark, which I have them, that's the one thing that they're kind of weak on right now. And I can't tell you, like, they're a very good offensive team, but are they very good offensively compared to the rest of the teams in the division? Or is it their bad pitching that has closed the bar right here? Because at 48 and 42, Kev, the Reds are only plus 8 run differential. That's something I'm keeping an eye on. I know a lot of people like to take a deep dive into the advanced analytics. Sometimes we make the sport too hard.
Right.
The tail of the tape is right there, plus 8. You don't like the plus minus stat in basketball? I do. I think that is a very simple tail of the tape as well. I mean, sometimes it's, man, when I'm on the floor, my team's clearly not scoring points. Oh, man, when I'm on the floor, we average more points per minute with me on the floor than me off the floor. There's a lot you have to kind of tweak and kind of take a dive into. Same thing you could do with the plus run, or with the run differential, but that's the tail of the tape right there. Plus 8 run differential. They've won nearly 50 games in the first half of the season. It's not that they're bad hitting. They're hitting the ball just fine. They're scoring plenty of runs. They're top 5 in runs scored in baseball. It's that pitching. That pitching needs to be what they address, and I think they're going to.
That's just saying that they're barely winning games. They're barely doing it, even though they're scoring a lot of runs. That shows that, like, hey, man, we need help in the bullpen to close out these games. And I'm sure there's other stats that show, like, look, they're leading a lot of these games going into, like, the 7th inning and everything like that, because most of the time I really don't see them coming back like that. Like, I always see teams coming back on them. You know what I'm saying? So that is quite alarming. And you're right. You know, they need to figure out what they want to do, you know, front office wise, because, you know, the guys on the field, they want to win the game. That's obvious. But does the management and the people really in charge, and the people in charge of signing checks, do they want to go for it? Do they really want to go for it? So it's kind of like on the players, like you said, like the players would dictate what management does, because the management's not going to dip into the bag to spend money and trade assets if the team isn't playing well. So they're playing well. So second half of the season, the back half of this month is really going to determine what they're going to do front office wise. So if they go through this stretch with Milwaukee and the Mets and St. Louis, if they come out of there on the positive side, that gives them the ammunition to say, like, all right, man, they're playing good baseball. Let's go ahead and do it, because if we don't, we'll be wasting the opportunity. And like you said, they got the Cubs after this. The Cubs are playing terrible. They got a 4-game stretch with the Cubs, so you're expecting to get 3 of those, because they're just giving players away. But it's not about the Cubs yet. It's about Milwaukee, the Mets, and St. Louis.
Yeah, that's the thing about, you know, just because you play in a bad division, and heck, you know, you're Cleveland Indians or Cleveland baseball team in the division that they are in. That's a prime example of a division that, well, it's bad. And you even said this last year when we were talking about how hot they were heading into the postseason. How much confidence do you have? You said, well, they've beat up on a lot of bad teams, but at the same time, you know, again, you got good teams still have to beat the bad teams,
right?
Because you know who's not beating the Pirates regularly? The Cubs, because the Cubs aren't good. You know who's not beating the Cubs regularly? The Pirates, because they're not a good baseball team. You know who is beating up on all the bad teams? The Reds. That's what the Reds have done. Are they the best team in baseball? No, but they are significantly better than the worst teams. 48 wins in the first half, 4 games back of the division. But you're right. Going up against all these bad teams and beating all these bad teams means nothing if you can't close the gap between yourself in the first place and NL Central leading Milwaukee Brewers, which that's game 1 tonight. Hopefully, a lot of bad weather kind of floating around in the area, and it's projected to do so for the rest of the night. But
storm's coming.
Yeah, again, and by the way, to give you an idea, the Brewers at 53 and 39, they are plus 46 in their run differential. Plus 46.
And the Reds are what?
Plus 8. So they've only won 5 more games than the Reds, and they've outscored their opponents by 46. Can you imagine what the Reds' record would be at the deadline? So the San Francisco Giants lead the NL West at 57 wins at the deadline. They're plus 116 runs. And they're finding, I mean, that's 116. All right, you look at the Mets. They're leading the NL East, 47-40. They're +9. They're having back-end pitching issues as well, which leaves them vulnerable to a lot of losses that they should not be suffering. The Astros, +136 run differential. The White Sox, +117 run differential. Every division-leading team has a positive run differential. There is not one team in baseball that is leading their division that does not have a positive run differential. So keep that in mind. The Cubs have a -24, Cardinals are -40, and the Pirates are -122. I mean, they're not even trying at that point.
It's a wrap.
I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. We got a lot coming up here on the show today. I've been messaging back and forth with Tommy Thrall, the voice of the Reds. We are waiting to find out if this game is officially happening before we have Tommy on the show. So as soon as we confirm what's going on with the game tonight, we'll wrap up a time with Tommy. Just heard from him there. Before we go to break, Kev, you can cue the music. Let's start heading to the Facebook and the YouTube feed. Scott Campbell says, "Go Reds." He also says it looks like Kinner saved some money again by not golfing. Yes, the only thing that's positive about this weather is that I saved money on golfing. I haven't been able to make it out. It's been crappy weather. I had
terrible weather.
Mow the grass yesterday. I had to do yard work.
So speaking of terrible weather, I have a leak in my patio door.
I bet it's worse.
Dude, so where the track is and everything like that, it's a puddle of water right there. So I'm like, I don't even know who I should call for that. Do I call window people to come out and look at that? I have no idea what to do.
All right, listeners, do your thing.
Help me.
Do your thing.
It's going to start coming over onto the carpet, and we don't want that. So I'm down there with towels, trying to dampen it up, but it won't stop raining.
Especially not tonight. I wouldn't count on an answer tonight. Help them out, listeners. Do your thing,
me, please.
All right, Ron Howard says your prediction will not happen. You're forgetting who the manager is. I'm not forgetting who the manager is, Ron. It's the same manager that has them at 48 wins right now. Ron, look, I'm very critical of David Bell. I've been accused by Reds fans of being way too critical and way too negative. I've always said, and I've said that, and this is why crybaby Bengals fans, you guys can all kiss it, because I've been telling you guys for a long time. If you win, you shut Kinner up. When you lose, you give me too much ammo, and I don't stop. That was David Bell and the Reds last year, losing games that they should have been winning. Of course, I was going to be critical. Everyone said I was too critical, and I said when this team starts winning games, and they win games his way, there's nothing for me to complain about because they're winning. So right now they're winning. I'm not going to criticize David Bell. If he pulls a pitcher in the fourth inning and they only have 70 pitches and they could still roll and they go on to win the game, ain't going to hear a peep out of me. But if he pulls a starting pitcher in the fourth inning and they have to go to that bad bullpen and the bullpen costs them a game, then I'll be critical. It's very simple, folks. Win, shut Kinner up. You lose, you open up the door to Kinner being as critical as anyone out there. Bengals fans, take notes. A lot of you are Bengals and Reds fans. I just want you to keep that same energy heading into football season, wondering, why is he so critical of my team? It's because you're losing. That's why. So no, David Bell's the manager of the same team that is second in the division, has won 48 games. They do not have a shortstop. They have the worst bullpen in baseball. Injuries galore. Ron, it's not about who the manager is. It's about what the manager's doing, and he's winning. That's all you can ask for. Laura Dell, shout out to Laura. She says they've only got 18 games against the teams with a winning record in the second half, Kev. That's pretty impressive too. The schedule is set up. If there are baseball gods, they're wearing Reds caps right now. They have set the path for the Reds to not just get to the playoffs in a little measly one-game wild card. They're put in position to potentially win this division. If they don't win this division, it's on them 1,000,000%, because you can't say, oh, well, the Brewers are really, 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 you mean the team that you've dominated this year? Hopefully that domination continues. Laura, thank you for bringing that up. That's a great point. And she goes, a bunch of them are happening right away. Things look good for our Red Legs. I agree. Charles Tackett says the bullpen is going to break down. This is the same Charles that thinks the worst offensive line in football is going to remain strong for 17 games. But, I'll leave it at that. The bullpen, it might break down. It hasn't been good to begin with. They've had a nice positive little stretch. The bullpen will break down if they keep it as is. They have to address that at the deadline. I believe that they will. Michael Lorenzen is back tonight. He's made available tonight. That is huge. He told the media earlier today that he does not want to be eased into anything, that he is ready to go 100%, does not want to be eased into it. So we shall see. I hope David Bell does doesn't ease him into it. I hope that they let him go because he definitely could be an innings eater in the middle of games. If you have a starter that's having a rough night and you need a guy to come in and kind of eat some innings a bit, he's the guy to do it. Just because a guy's taken out in the fourth, you don't need to have 5 different pitchers the remainder of the game, even though David Bell, I think, obsesses with that. All right. Robert Miller says, my car is going to break down at some point, but I don't know when. Roll Tide. And then here's Kev complaining about his little puddle problem in front of his front door. And we got old Robert Miller stuck in traffic. Robert, in all seriousness, I hope that doesn't happen. Not with this weather out there. So hopefully you get home. By the way, when your car, like, at what point do you put gas in your car? Do you wait till that thing? Oh, see, my grandpa, he's the same. My grandpa always told me growing up, you don't wait for it to get, low and almost empty before I wait till that light comes on, baby.
Oh my goodness.
Look, it's just like at home. I need Nora to boss me around and tell me what to do. I could go do the dishes, but they don't need done because apparently it doesn't need done until Nora says, okay, the dishes are getting out of hand. You need help. No. I don't mow the grass on my own unless Nora says, okay, enough. You need to get out there and cut the grass. So why would I fill up my gas tank if I don't have to? Why would I mow the grass if I don't have to? I need people to tell me what to do. And
that's like one of my biggest fears, to run out of gas.
Really?
Yes. Half the tank, I fill it right back up.
Every time on Snapchat, I get to that, my car will tell me, oh, you have 6 miles till empty. I have an obsession with trying to see the closest I've cut it is to 4 miles before empty.
Ain't no way.
But what's funny is one time I did run out of gas. It said I had 26 miles till empty. So it's always a guessing game with me going down there. It is what it is. What do we got going on here? I'll continue reading through these. Folks, we'll be back in a moment. I'm excited for the second half of Reds baseball. We talked about this yesterday. I'm not a big movie guy, but if I watch a movie once, I usually I don't rewatch movies. Once the thrill of the unexpected happens and I now know what happens, I don't need to watch it. I don't need to rewatch it. I already know what's going to happen. There's no enjoyment in it. I love watching movies that, man, they're just going to catch me, surprise after surprise after surprise. That's what I enjoy about the Reds. If the Reds were 15 games above 500 and they were the best hitting team and best pitching team in baseball, I'd be bored. So just be careful. This is fine. This is great. This is a great position for the Reds to be in. The journey is way more exciting this way when they come all the way up from behind to win this division and make the playoffs and have home field advantage at Great American Ballpark. I'm hoping, we're talking about potential rainouts tonight. I hope we're talking about rainouts in October. Not really, but you see my point. Important baseball in October that involves the Reds is always a good thing. We'll be back in a moment. More of your takes and opinions always welcome on Facebook, The Justin Kinner Show. You can find the show there or on ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers and a flood watch, a high near 80. Tonight, rain continues with a flood watch, a low near 68. And tomorrow will be cloudy with showers, a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
Today's pros need today's tools, and nobody understands that better than the Home Depot. Our app makes it simpler to get supplies ordered and delivered. Our online project calculators cut guesswork and last-second supply runs. Job site delivery puts what you need where and when you need it. And rental puts the right equipment in your hands, but not your overhead. That's how today's pros get more done. New tech, new tools, old-fashioned hard work. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Tired of deciding what to cook tonight? Frickers is ready when you are with everyone's favorite ribs and frickin' chicken chunks. Tender baby back ribs and frickin' chicken chunks, only $12.99 dine-in only. Take the day off as kids 10 and under eat free every day. And you can relax and let Frickers take care of everything. Baby back ribs, frickin' chicken chunks, and kids eat free at the one place that makes lunch, dinner, or late night easy. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Baby back. Baby back.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Over the last year and a half, we all learned some hard lessons. One of the most important is that you can't put off the inevitable. Hi, this is Mark Davis at Dayton Memorial Park Cemetery and Mausoleums. No matter how hard it is to think about, we all need a final resting place. When pre-planning with your funeral home, please remember that cemetery arrangements must also be made. Call us today at 937-890-1831 or visit our website at DaytonMemorialPark.com. And remember, Dayton Memorial Park is a beautiful place to celebrate life.
Get savings on Pro Essentials at the Lowe's Just for Pros event going on now. Save on select appliance special values. Plus, save an additional $50 when you buy 2 or more appliances, each price $396 or more. Find more savings throughout the store at Lowe's, the new home for pros. Must ask cashier to apply discount in store. Online must use promo code. Can't be combined with any other discounts. See Lowe's.com for exclusions and terms. Valid 7/15 through 8/4. U.S. only.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
What if I told you you could save 50% off your monthly cell phone bill without sacrificing your service? This is Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst, and I'm talking about H2O Wireless. If you're with AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, you're just paying too much. Listen to this. You can get unlimited talk, text, and 15 gigs of data for just $36 a month. That means the average person is probably saving $400 a year. You might use that to fund your emergency reserve fund or pay down some credit card bills or put some money in your retirement plan. And switching is so easy. You can keep your phone, keep your number. You just have to swap out your SIM card. You get the same great service you currently have, but at half the price. Right now, you can save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword get H2O. That's pound 250 and say keyword get H2O to start saving today.
Don't wait to get a new job. Express Employment Professionals is hiring for more than 35,000 jobs. Find your local Express office at expresspros.com or on the Express Jobs app.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live or go back and rewatch previous episodes of The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, The Keith Byers Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Space Jam 2. It's out.
Tonight, watching it tonight.
Let me be 1,000,000% clear. I am a huge LeBron James fan. I do not believe this will be better than the original. But I am also smart enough to know that it doesn't mean it's going to be bad. Like, people act like it has to be better. Like, and I guess I'm a hypocrite because we do this in sports. It's, well, they're not as good as that team. So if they're not as good as that team that won the championship, then who cares, right? Like, that's what we do. But last night, I found this funny meme on Facebook that I shared on the Justin Kinner Show page. And it was some little nerdy guy. And it said, your LeBron hating friends tomorrow after watching Space Jam 2, and it said, I don't know, I just thought Michael Jordan had better screen chemistry with Tweety. And the amount, and of course, it brought up the trolls and just the hateful people. Kev, this is what one individual brought up. He went to Walmart and he found Space Jam 2 shower curtains or bed sheets that were on clearance for $10. And he said, I don't know, I don't think the movie's going to be that good because look, and he posted a picture of Space Jam 2 bed sheets that were on clearance because a huge retailer would not be giving up on items from a big promotion like that. And I said, so your argument as to why the movie will not be any good is because of bed sheets. Clearance
people
bed sheets. Like, there's a lot of, you could have given a lot more intelligent reasons as to why Space Jam 2 is going to be a flop in theaters, but sending a picture of Space Jam bed sheets at Walmart, that's weak,
man. That is so strange. Weak, and that is why I try to refrain from being on social media. I love it.
You do.
I know you do. I mean, I'm on social media, but interacting with people, I just can't do it, man. Like that's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's a cartoon movie, and you're really trying to I know you, but you're right. There are going to be people out here that be like, Michael Jordan was better. It's a cartoon movie.
Without seeing it, I'm even admitting that. I like LeBron. I'm a LeBron James fan, but Space Jam was one of my all-time favorite movies growing up. You know what it's going to take to bump that from my list? I have very high expectations for this movie that I don't think it's going to surpass the original, but it also doesn't make it bad. But the people that are bashing the movie without watching it, they already have an opinion of LeBron that it's not, they're not going to go into this movie wanting it to be good anyways. They're going to find all this stuff. So that's what, it is what it is. But then someone really put it all into, perspective for me when they said, look at all you grown ass men arguing over a cartoon movie. And I'm like, well played. Touche.
Yeah.
Touche.
But you know
Touche.
What? It is also like that in the comic book movie universe. Nerd. It's
don't get revenge on me, nerd.
it's people out here that talk about the Marvel movies and the DC movies, going at it, literally going at
grown men, adults.
Yeah, dude, it's a movie about dudes that fly and stick to walls. It's a movie. Just enjoy it. If you don't like it, guess what? You don't ever have to watch it again. It's that simple.
But yeah, and so then someone brought up, and then here's the other thing too. The soundtrack of Space Jam 1 was the soundtrack to my childhood. That I can't tell you a time that I ever, before a basketball game, wasn't listening to Space Jam. Right? That was you listen to Space Jam. My arm was, like a rubber band going across the whole gym, right? That's just what no. Look, do I think the movie will be better than the original? I don't. I still think it's going to be good. And then what people do is they find a review online, because you could find, by the way, this is why I hate, my job every day is to come on here and present a side and then provide points to back up my side, knowing that everyone who disagrees with me can also go online and find 55 different stats and articles to support their side.
Right.
And they're wrong, but they can find them. But like the point is so last night I had people, oh man, already. So it was a Yahoo thing that said, the person was a Yahoo and it was from Yahoo Sports that said, it wasn't very good. It was a bad review of it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I also found 10 articles that said it was great in the premiere. So we could do this all day. And the bottom line is we are grown men. This movie was not technically made for us. When we fell in love with Space Jam, we were young and little, and we were the target demo of the original Space Jam. And then we grew up with that original Space Jam because it was Michael Jordan and it was cool to watch, right? Mm-hmm. So if I go to watch this, you're going to watch it tonight.
Yes, sir.
I'm probably going to be critical. I'm going to be like, okay, was that a joke? Was that fun? Is that funny to little kids? I don't know if it's funny. It's not going to be made for me. So I'm probably going to be critical of it too. But the bottom line is if you want to criticize the movie, more power to you. Oh, you don't like there's too many special effects for it, that it gets a little overdone. Okay, that's a fair assessment. But, LeBron James has political views I don't agree with, so the movie sucks. You're an idiot. You're an idiot, because you know how many movies you watch that pretty much every actor and actress in there probably doesn't think the way you do, and yet you watch it, but yet LeBron James has an opinion you don't like, and holy crap, Space Jam 2 sucks. Look, Tweety Bird looks weird, criticize that. You think it looks too overdone? Fine. But if your opinion is LeBron James thinks differently than me, I don't like Space Jam 2, then I don't got time for you. I really don't. Like, that's dumb. That's dumb. It really is. So anyways, continue. I'm the one. But yeah, moving on.
I'll say this: if it doesn't have the OG song in there, I will be disappointed. Get ready for the Space Jam. Like, if
the problem is R. Kelly screwed up so much.
Yeah.
You can't carry over any of the R. Kelly stuff.
That's not coming back. But
that
if
was
it
such a good
doesn't
song too.
The Quad City DJs get ready for the Space Jam at some point in that movie, I will be disappointed.
Do we have to cancel songs and movies of people because really?
Yes.
I don't think of I do. I was reminded that it was his song because of, they said, but
that was a high school graduation song from 1996 until 2018, till he officially got the boom. He's canceled.
So you're on Hot 102.9.
Yes, sir.
You guys pulled his music, correct?
Yes, we did.
Who other? What other song?
What
other artists? Songs? No, R. Kelly. But what other artists have been pulled?
I don't think any other artist has been pulled.
Now, did people complain that his songs were on? There's both sides. People complain because you pulled it, but when they would hear it, so that's the thing. People,
yes,
okay,
people
enough.
Were like, "Y'all still playing R. Kelly?" I'm like, me and Drake, the program director, had a conversation about it, and it was like, man, but what about this? This is classic. This is a classic song. We still get people that request certain R. Kelly songs, and it's coming to a point where I've been to a couple events, now that Corona's over and everything like that, and you hear R. Kelly and you think to yourself, is this appropriate? But dang, I love this song. So it's the art, it's the artist. It's where do you draw the line, really?
Yeah, I know. But I really like the soundtrack for Space Jam, the original. I feel when I'm listening, I feel guilty. I got to skip to the next song. I'm like, it is. Philip Lassiter on YouTube says, "I Believe I Can Fly" has to be one of the best songs from that movie. The soundtrack from top to bottom was the best. I will say, I downloaded it last night. Hold on. I got to find it on here too. The main song for the new one is really cool too. I'm a big fan of. Have you heard that one?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to figure out what it's called real quick so I can urge people to go check it out. Is it better than the original Space Jam? It's no. We Win is the name of it. We Win. But nonetheless, really, really good. I had it, playing in the studio earlier today. But nonetheless,
get ready for the Space Jam.
So there you go. We should have
tonight. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
So,
gonna watch it tonight. Gonna pop some popcorn. Sit down and watch Space Jam. Gonna be a good time.
Someone said, "Hit him high."
If I hit him high, hit him high, hit him high. Then you hit him low, hit him low, hit him low. Busta Rhymes on there going crazy. Look, man, it's gonna be a good time, man. People just need to sit back and enjoy it, man. Because if you think it's gonna be bad, then you shouldn't even watch it. And that's the thing that frustrates me about people sometimes. People have their preconceived notions about something, but then they waste their time watching something. Well, if you think it's gonna be bad, why are you even watching it? Just let it go. Just do something else. There's a million other things that you could watch besides Space Jam tonight. You can go out and you can go see the Reds. You can watch something else on Netflix. Let me enjoy my movie.
By the way, I have a question. So you're on Hot 102.9 and you do the noon throwback.
Correct.
And I have a problem because when I used to listen to the noon throwback, every song I listened to, I'm like, yeah, that's a throwback. I'm starting to hear some songs on there that I'm like, hold up, I was in high school when that came out. Or why are you putting songs that we were in high school for in the noon throwback? You trying to age us?
No, it's just
how is 8 Mile? How are you putting that?
That's definitely a throwback.
What year? That's 2000. I mean, what's the? Do you have a cutoff?
10 years is a throwback.
Look at Kenner trying to tell Kev how to do his job.
10 years is a throwback. Yeah. And then you'll be surprised about some of the songs that you find out are 10 years old because in January, I go through and figure out, all right, what are we adding to the category for this year? So, every year the category gets larger and larger. And then you realize like, whoa, hold on. Drake and Nicki Minaj, they've been out for 10 years. Like they got songs that are throwbacks now. So yeah, 10 years.
So it's 2021.
Yes, sir.
So Party Rock Anthem is considered
throwback.
Part of the new throwback. How about our girl Katy Perry? Firework? You can put that there. I mean,
throwback.
Okay. Grenade.
10 years.
10
years. Think about what you were doing 10 years ago.
I was in my first of many junior year of colleges.
See, things change a lot in 10 years, man. So yeah, 10 years justifies a throwback.
Hold on. So I got to go through this. Some of these, I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. Oh well, but yeah, I heard one the other day. I'm like, hold up, Kev, this can't be on the noon throw. It was on the noon throwback. So 10 years it is. 10 years it is. All right. Jason Payne says you should never go into any movie with expectations. Well, I mean, the expectations are what draw you to go to a movie.
Yeah. You watch the trailer, you get excited, you get the feels, you think like, oh man, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to go check it out. Or you see a trailer like, oh man, that looks terrible. I'll wait till it comes on Netflix. Like, that's what you do. Or at least that's what I do. Like, but for me, I know I'm not a big trailer watcher back when the world was wide open because I'm like super into movies. But now that like I don't watch as many movies, like I watch trailers again, everything like that. But I know what I'm going to go see before it even comes out. Like I'm going to see every Marvel movie. I'm going to see every DC movie. Like that's the genre that I like. I love comic book movies, so I'm going to go see them.
But you know what's going to happen.
Nerd alert. So I knew what was going to happen mostly in most of these Avengers movies and Marvel comic book movies. But there is a time like starting now where like they have the 10 Rings is coming out in September. Never read one of those comic books. So I have no idea. These characters are all new to me. And the phase that they are in or coming out of, I don't know anything that's going on in the comic books because there comes a certain point where you stop reading. Well, I stopped reading comic books. So they're coming into like phases that I have no idea what happened in the comic book. So it's going to be all new to me. So I'm excited.
Yeah, the last movie I got excited for because I'm not a big movie guy. Like I grew up watching Jurassic Park. I was obsessed with those movies. It scared the hell out of me. You know what movie gave you nightmares as a kid?
A non-scary movie?
No, scary movie. Oh, that stupid ass little doll Chucky. That damn thing. And then to this day, like I'm not joking. I did have a nightmare the other night. Like I woke up like all startled. Like it was Chucky still at 31 years old is still haunting me in my damn nightmares. It's unbelievable.
For me, it was definitely the first Nightmare on Elm Street because I watched that way too young. That's what happens when you have a brother that's 6 years older than you. You watch movies that you shouldn't be watching as a kid. Like I remember one time he let me watch Animal House and I was like probably like 6 years old. Yeah, I shouldn't have been watching that. And that's like when your brother's 6 years older than you and your mom works third shift, you'll be all right. Don't worry about it. So watching Freddy Krueger, watching Jason movies. Yeah, I shouldn't have been doing that.
And again, this is going against what I just said because there's no such thing as a walking little serial killer dummy. But like those movies don't scare me. Like Friday the 13th, Jason, all that doesn't bother me. You know what movie? Scream. The movie Scream. And by the way, I loved that movie growing up, but it was on the other night and I was watching it. I'm like, the acting is so horrible. Like it's no wonder Scary Movie. I mean, Scary Movie's acting was better than the actual Scream, but like it was so cheesy. And I don't know if it was meant to be that way, but yes, this is a sports show. People relax. It's a Friday. Loosen the hell up. We did a whole hour last year around this time on grilling pizza. So it's July, folks. Relax.
But yeah, like scary movies get dated and also comedies get dated because in comedy movies, they're of the genre, they're of what's going on right now. So something that's funny 10 years ago is not going to be funny today because it's of the moment. So that's how
Like
comedy movie
was that?
Yeah, like you watch that now, you're not gonna laugh like you did when you first saw it. But like a scary movie, they're the same way because, like you said, like 9 times out of 10 in a scary movie, they're getting young people to be in it, actors that are just breaking into the business and everything like that.
Half the scary movie cast used to be in the studio and hot all the time. Yeah. Back when when. I mean, the Funny Bone. What is the Funny Bone doing right now?
Man.
I feel they need to open back up. I can't wait for when they open back up. But we used to get all those, like a lot of those former like comedians that are in that movie would come to Dayton all the time, and then they would always stop in here. My favorite, the guy that in Breaking Bad, Huel.
Yes, sir.
The real Huel. Well, the real actor that played Huel. What was his? Damn it! It's right in front of me too. He lost a crap ton of weight.
Yeah, man. He was here, man. I guess
Crawford, Jamal Crawford. No, Jamal Crawford. What the hell's his name?
Lavelle Crawford.
It was close enough.
He was here maybe like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, he's in studio.
Yeah, and he came to a Tom Joyner event about health and fitness, and he told his story about his journey to weight loss and everything like that. He said he lost over like 180 pounds. So that was cool, man. And
I don't like when comedians lose weight. I don't like it. I don't find them funny anymore. Like Kevin James to me is funny because he's fat. If he ever gets skinny, like Galvanakis or whatever, when those guys all lose weight, they're not funny anymore.
So but
their health is important too.
Yeah,
because they are people.
Here's the latest from the Dayton Funny Bone. Thank you for visiting our site. Unfortunately, until the CDC and our local government allows 100% capacity to this location.
Oh, they haven't updated that.
This location will remain closed. All tickets have been refunded for any future shows.
They haven't updated that. But no, nonetheless, excited for that. So Nick on Facebook, he says, A Nightmare on Elm Street. That's fact, Kev. Keith Tolliver, I think he thought I was bashing your noon throwback. I wasn't. I just don't like, 31. I have some gray hairs coming in, and I'm not old by any means. But he says that Keith Tolliver says the noon throwback is fire every day. Justin, calm down.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And we're always taking requests at one Kev Nash on the gram and Twitter. I don't know every single throwback. I do have a large category and music database, but like I just got one, a De La Soul request. Stakes is High. I didn't have it in my computer, so I got to go find Stakes is High from De La Soul. That like came out I want to say 96. So I got to find that.
All right, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio, dropping the noon throwback on Dayton's. I already finished.
Hot 102.9 Dayton's hottest music.
There you go. I was trying to, it's a good thing I don't sell that station either. Like, what station are you with? I'm with Dayton's noon throwback. Yeah, that's me. How are you? Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Friday. It's a loosey-goosey Friday. That's what it feels like to me. I mean, we've been all over the place. We've talked Tweety Bird, Bugs Bunny. And in all seriousness, I thought they got rid of Speedy Gonzalez. I had no clue that they kept Speedy Gonzalez. He's on the cover.
Let's get it. The Liberty Funny Bone is open.
There you go.
D-Ray is going to be there in September.
There you go.
Who else would I want to go see? D.L. Hughley's going to be there in October.
George Lopez was when he was here years ago. That's one of my favorite comedians growing up. I grew up in a Hispanic family, so all his stand-up was just absolutely, I mean, it was funnier than hell listening to that growing up. Who else we used to get some big names coming in. Rob Schneider's going to be actually out at Day-Air Ballpark coming up.
Really?
Yeah. They did a smaller name comedian last year, the year before, if I'm not mistaken, and they're going to be experimenting with that more now. I think that's really cool. I like going to experience like comedians like in different, you have your traditional little comedy club type venues. I think that's pretty cool to do. But I know this sounds silly, but have you ever seen a stand-up comedy act somewhere outside of a club where it just doesn't feel as funny because like the club setting is honestly what kind of it is strange. I've never been to a comedian at like a ballpark or something, so I'm curious like how Schneider's
was
act comes through.
When Kevin Hart was at the Nutter Center, I was there for that. But yeah, you're right.
I was too. I laughed my ass off for that one.
The comedy club.
I bought tickets before I knew that we had tickets. You gotta take care of your jocks. Just saying.
The comedy club scene is way funnier, man. That intimate setting, when you hear people laugh, you laugh and everything like that. You can actually see the expressions on the comedians' faces and everything like that. Yeah, it's always a good time. When is Tony Rock coming back? We're just all over the place. You're right.
No, we are. Last thing here on the way out. Keith Tolliver also says, I have grandkids. They don't really know Bugs Bunny and the crew. Yeah, now we still going. Don't get me wrong. Just going to cost me more in candy to shut them up. But see, that was my point. Keith, I'm glad you brought that up, that his grandkids, they don't know. And I asked this the other day. I said, I love the idea of Space Jam 2, but I think that there's a lot of elements about it that if it flops, it's not because you got Looney Tunes was humongous for kids. Michael Jordan was humongous for young adults and what have you. It was a collision of two of the hottest things going at that time. You have LeBron, who's the most well-known athlete out there. I mean, you can go ask a non-basketball fan who LeBron is. They'll be able to tell you. I mean, LeBron's known across the globe, right? Mm-hmm. But then you have a bunch of Looney Tunes characters that nobody knows who the hell they are outside of us who grew up with them. So, Keith, I'm glad you brought that up because that was my point the other day about that in regards to, using these characters. But again, it's part of the Space Jam, brand or whatever.
Yeah.
But that could be one component that leads to this flopping is kids aren't going to gravitate to Bugs Bunny. Right? I for those of you listening with kids, I don't have kids. I have dogs. My dogs don't like Bugs Bunny. My dog loves rabbits, though. She goes and chases the hell out of them things and tries to get them out of our yard. But, I just don't see kids gravitating. They may enjoy the movie, but I don't see how they're excited going, I can't wait to see Bugs Bunny. Who the hell's Bugs Bunny to half these kids? That's all. We'll be back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Looking for the best venue for your upcoming event or party? Check out our VIP suite at Polking Lane South. It's a unique, state-of-the-art VIP 8-lane luxury suite. It's not too soon to book your holiday party. Call today and let the good times roll. Let us book your holiday event at any of our centers. Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, or Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive. Ho, ho, ho!
Hi, I'm Sales Manager Jason High at Germain Honda Beaver Creek, proud recipient of the prestigious President's Award. We are your local Honda dealer, and we invite you to see our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility. You'll be amazed at our selection, and remember, all new Hondas come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit us at Route 35, just east of 675, conveniently located near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I'll see you soon.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
OHMB 803342 and MLS 304138. Do you need help with a loan to purchase or refinance your home? Have you applied for a home loan and been told you do not qualify for a loan? Are you a first-time buyer and have questions regarding the home buying process? Are you considering refinancing your existing home? Do you live in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, or South Carolina? If you answered yes to any of the above questions, you need to call Forrest Ferris at 3rd Street Financial Home Loans at 513-320-5911, who is available 7 days a week to help you. We're 3rd Street Financial Home Loans, and Forrest Ferris specializes in approving home loans banks and other lenders cannot or will not approve. Some of our clients might have low credit scores, been through a divorce, want to buy a home for sale by owner, are in a land contract, or dealing with probate or estate homes. Call Forrest now for a free estimate, 513-320-5911. That's 513-320-5911. Offer valid for purchase or refinancing of homes located in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, and South Carolina only. Minimum loan amount $60,000. Limitations and restrictions apply.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City is hiring for warehouse positions in all units, which includes flexible schedules, best-in-class benefits, enhanced starting wages, and a $500 signing bonus. Interested candidates should call 937-669-9109 from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., Monday through Friday. Walk-in interviews are strongly encouraged. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 937-669-9109 for an interview or apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We'll help you find everything you need. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $28.99. And if you're an AutoZone Rewards member, you'll also get a $5 bonus reward. Get what you need fast and get the job done easier.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
Trade pros. Whether you specialize in service or new construction, Ferguson knows firsthand how much work goes into a long day on the job, which is why we're committed to offering the products and solutions to get every job done right. With over 1,000 locations, an unmatched selection of specialty products, tools, and supplies, our pro pickup and same or next day delivery, you can trust that doing business with Ferguson will be the easiest part of your hard day's work. Visit Ferguson.com to find a counter location near you.
Save today on your next project with 11% off everything now at Menards. Light up your garage or workspace with Patriot Lighting. Get a 15,000 lumen high bay light that's energy efficient and swivels to adjust light where you need it. All Patriot Lighting is 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through Saturday, July 17th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Staples Connect has everything to help you get ready for back to school with amazing prices for everything on your list. Visit your local Staples store, staplesconnect.com, and be more than ready for school. Staples.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
Last thing on Space Jam 2, I'm telling you, I still can't get over the individual on Facebook last night. And by the way, I'm sure the dude's a nice dude. I know. If you don't agree with me, I make fun of you and rip you. I'm a child. I'm not going to change. But just know, I respect you. I do. But I don't know what... I mean, my opinion is based on his opinion about this matter. I'm not saying he's a horrible person. That's all. Bosses start texting, you're too mean to the listeners. They're too mean to me. They started. Anyways, I give an opinion on something that's nice. They be mean, I mean back. And I will never change on that, by the way. I know. By the way, that whole mantra of, the customer's always right, that you should wipe your behind with that whole mantra. The customer is not always right. I've seen so many a-hole customers, not in this industry, but just, out and about. I was in a restaurant the other night, and this woman was so freaking rude to the waitress. And the waitress is sitting there with a smile.
Just taking it, huh?
And then the lady didn't even give her a tip.
Oh, no.
So nice old Ken Dog over here. I went over, had a couple quarters. No, I'm just joking. I left a nice little tip on the table. Just say, you didn't deserve that or whatever. And I was like, I asked her, I said, how do you just sit there and take that? Oh, I don't want to lose my bosses will fire me. It's like, then your bosses suck for not having your back against these type of people, because these type of people suck. So I'm just saying, the customer is not always right. The customer does not always get to act like an a-hole and then sit there and get offended if you're rude back to them. I'll never understand that. I will never deal with that myself. I'll give my opinion on something. If people come and say, man, you're the worst host ever because of my opinion on something. If you think my voice is annoying, fine, I can't change that. If you don't like how I look, fine, I can't change that. But if you hate me because I said your offensive line is bad, you can kick rocks, buddy. Like that's a you problem, is what it is. So coming up, so the guy last night that said that Space Jam 2 will be bad, Kev, because he saw clearance Space Jam 2 sheets at Walmart, and that clearly that the big retail store Walmart does not buy into Space Jam 2, and that's why they've already put their content on layaway on whatever clearance. So I'm like, okay, yeah, the movie's gonna suck because of clearance bed sheets. Got it. That's how we're rating things from now.
Well, here's a little sneakerhead information. So they're having tons and tons of Space Jam shoes drop on Nike, all sold out, but you can still buy them on the aftermarket for triple the price. So,
but bed sheets, clearance bed sheets. Aye. Hour 2 coming up. Be thinking of this, Kev. We did the what's more likely to happen game yesterday. Be thinking about this one. Which is more likely to happen this upcoming college football season? Ohio State losing to Oregon or Cincinnati beating Notre Dame? Which is more likely to happen? Which is more likely to happen? North Carolina making the college football playoff or Alabama missing the college football playoff? Which is more likely to happen? See, Kenner's good at these. My boss says I don't work hard. He has no clue. We'll be back. Hour 2 next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
So, just gonna be totally honest here. I'm already thinking back to school, and I just got the most amazing deals at Kohl's. Like, I got $60 Converse sneakers for my son, 25% off Vans for my daughter, 25% off Nike for both of them, and I got an extra 15% off. Picked up some Kohl's cash too, which I'm for sure keeping for myself. Gotta treat yourself every now and then, am I right? Select styles, 15% offer ends July 25th. Some exclusions apply. See storekohls.com for details.
Staples Connect has everything you need for back to school at amazing prices. Right now, 8 packs of Pep Rally No. 2 pencils, Staples pencil cap erasers, and Staples comp books are just 50 cents each. So your student won't just be ready for school, they'll be first day of school pop quiz ready.
It's showtime.
Visit your local Staples store or staples.com/back to school today and get more than ready for school with amazing prices for everything on your list. Ends 9/18. Pencils in store only. Offers may vary online.
Lisa and payroll, hello?
Lisa, hi, it's Jim at the home office. Any particular reason why your mailroom clerk makes $2.7 million a year?
Well, he's really good, you know?
Is it time to update your payroll network? Call the certified professionals at Arrowhead Tax Accounting and Payroll Services in New Carlisle at 937-543-5770. Arrowhead Tax Accounting and Payroll Services. Our target is your satisfaction.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
You think buckling up is a personal choice? That it doesn't hurt anyone else? You would be wrong. Your choice could shatter the lives of your family, friends, and everyone you know. That's why we enforce seatbelt laws, to save lives. Think about that every time you drive. Buckling up isn't just a good idea, it's a choice between surviving a crash or not. Make sure you and everyone in the vehicle buckles up every time. Click it or ticket. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Don't wait to get a new job. Express Employment Professionals is hiring for more than 35,000 jobs. Find your local Express office at expresspros.com or on the Express Jobs app.
We're live. We're local.
What are you gonna miss? He struck him up.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station.
Oh, okay.
Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, hour 2, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Happy Friday. Had some fun little storms roll through just a little bit ago. So I have a dilemma. I'm going to the Reds game tonight, I think. Do I maybe so the group of friends I'm going with, we're texting back and forth so if we go, it'll rain and be miserable and it'll be delayed, and then you've paid for parking, you've paid, spend a lot of money on overpriced beers and food, and then the game will be postponed or what have you. Then if you stay home, it'll be sunny in Cincinnati and yada yada yada. So that's the dilemma. That's what's mentally going through my head over the next 2 hours as we close this show out and close this week out. Dude, when we come back, it's the 16th. So that means we're heading into the final stretch of July. Where the hell's time going?
Man, as much as I love football, I'm just not ready, man. I'm not ready for the good weather to be gone, man. I love the summer. I love hot weather. I love being able to be outside, spark up the grill, hanging out with friends, just going places. When after October, man, it's just horrible. I
love fall.
It.
I love fall. I'll take fall any day. It's still warm, a little bit of a chill.
After that third week of October, I want out of here.
But see, here's why I've always said, I'm not the skinniest thing now, but I've lost close to 40 pounds now. So now I can so I say that because I used to look forward to the fall and the winter because I could wear hoodies and I could layer up and I can hide the extra kinner. Well, now I don't have a whole lot of extra kinner, so I don't mind. So now I'm going to be I'm really worried how cold I'm going to be. I don't have all the extra kinner padding to keep me warm. So I'm a little concerned. I might have to start eating bad again. Got this $100,000 in my hand. Got some Sour Patch. We got a lot of candy. So there you go. Okay. Steve Stetler, I like this idea. He says, just go to the game and get hammered either way and spend the night. Nope. Can't do that. Can't do that. That's expensive. I ain't going to stay the night. Cincinnati. We live an hour from Cincinnati. I'll drive. I can't do that. Not after drinking, of course, but yeah.
I'm trying to think of the last time I went to Cincinnati and actually stay, because when the Cincinnati Music Fest used to happen down at Paul Brown, we would always say we should just get a hotel because we always end up coming back the very next day. And I just I don't like staying in hotels. I like staying at home. I like being in my own bed. So I always end up going down there. We end up getting down there 5 o'clock. The concert don't end until 12:30. 1 o'clock, drive all the way back, get caught in traffic, get home at 2, 3 in the morning, and think to myself, we should have got a hotel.
Every time. But again, the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. So Brian Staley on Facebook, he writes a book, but he makes some really good points. He says about the Reds as they kick things off the second half of the season tonight. 2 predictions for the second half of the baseball season. Brian Stanley on Facebook, who messaged this in, actually put it in the comment section. If you watch the show live on Facebook and you put your opinion in the comment section, we pull it into the show and we interact with you that way. And Brian brings up a very good point here. He says his first of 2 big predictions are that the Brewers will make either bigger or more moves than the Reds at the trade deadline. He said they fear how the Reds are playing and the schedule the Reds have in August, September. And we talked about the schedule that the Reds have in August, September to open up the show earlier. And they have they have 9 games in September with the Pirates. They have series with the Cubs. The Cubs they are entering a humongous, it's a purge coming up. The Cubs, the Cubs are going to be the Cubs that I grew up with. Now, by the way, we're going to talk about this in a moment. Actually, I need to write that down because I'm going to forget. Cubs, Cavs, who underachieved more with the rosters that they had. We'll talk about that. Just be thinking about that. Anyways, so he's talking about, so the Reds have a very winnable, easy schedule. They already won 48 games in the first half of the season against much tougher competition, and they're actually playing better, and they have Michael Lorenzen back, and, who knows what's going to happen with Hunter Green and others. I don't know if they're on the fast track to be called up. Not others, maybe just Hunter Green. But he does bring up a lot of good points. We're going to find out two things. We're going to find out how good the Reds are based on, for one, how they're playing, but how the teams around them act at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
How much do the Brewers fear the Reds? Even though the Brewers have been beat up by the Reds a lot, I don't know if they fear the Reds. But we'll find it out. Brian, I love that point. He brings up an excellent point that the Brewers are looking at the Reds schedule in September and saying, oh, man, if we're going to be battling it out with them, night in and night out for the division lead, we're good. We're one of the top teams, but we got to be really, really good to fight off the Reds, because the Reds may not be as good as us, but they have a lot more going in their favor. They have a better hitting. They're a better hitting team. Starting pitching looks better on paper for the Brewers, but the Reds have been getting consistent starting pitching all year. And the fact that, they're going to be hopefully adding some bullpen arms. If they add a bullpen to that lineup, all of a sudden, it's a much different picture and outlook for the Reds in the second half. So we're going to find out just how good the Reds are, not based on just how they're playing, but how teams stack up at the deadline. Yes, if you're the Brewers, you should always want to stack up anyways, not just to beat the Reds, but to go deep into the playoffs. But sometimes it's just about, we got to fight just to get there, and we'll let the chips fall where they lie. Whenever we get to the playoffs, we'll see what ends up happening. But that's a good point, Brian. I appreciate that, dropping that in.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good point. Yeah, you talk about how, the Reds, they don't take that long West Coast trip where they don't do so well. They got a lot of games with the Cubs and the Pirates. I haven't looked at Milwaukee's schedule, but if the Reds schedule is soft and theirs is tougher, they're going to have to make moves to make sure they keep that lead. So hopefully they don't.
Yeah, let's, while we are on this, because we're going to get to the which is more likely to happen segment coming up here in just a moment. But while he does have me thinking about this, I do want to see what's going on with the Brewers in the second half of the season schedule-wise, because I think that that's going to play a role too. Like, we've already seen we can't just match up roster for roster, because at the end of the day, the Reds have got the better of the Brewers consistently. They swept the Brewers just last month. They just took 3 of 4 from Milwaukee at Milwaukee this past weekend, or the weekend before the All-Star break. So clearly, the Reds have the Brewers number, despite the fact that the Brewers are 53-39 and they lead the NL Central. So I have their schedule right here. The Milwaukee Brewers, when you're looking at the fact that the Reds in September have 9 games with Pittsburgh, they have a lot of games with the Cubs, they have the Marlins in September. It's a situation where let's go all the way down to September. So this is tough. The Brewers have 7 games with the Cardinals in September. Cardinals are, and by the way, the Cardinals, we could see them add some pieces here, and all of a sudden they're a player too in this division. Mm-hmm. Don't be surprised, because they do that every year. But 7 games with the Cardinals, those aren't easy wins. I don't even feel confident that the Reds are always going to beat the Cardinals when that series comes up. They have 7 with the Cardinals. They have 3 with the Mets. Now, they have 4 games at Philadelphia, and look at this, Kev. They play Washington. They play at San Francisco, who's just bludgeoning teams. Mm-hmm. They're at Cleveland. They're at Detroit. They are at the Dodgers. So when the Reds close out the season, if they're within a game or two, or the Reds have a game or 2 lead, the Milwaukee Brewers are playing at the Dodgers, and the Reds are playing against Pittsburgh. Now they're at Pittsburgh, whatever that means, beautiful ballpark. But man, like that schedule for the Brewers is a huge. That's a big deal. That's a big deal, because they have series. They play the Giants twice. They play at Atlanta. They have the White Sox, okay? Like, it's a tough stretch for the Brewers as well. This isn't going to be easy for them. The Wolf on YouTube says, Brewers have lost 5 of the last 7 games to the Redlegs. Reds have an easier schedule than the Brewers. I looked at both, but who knows? No, you're right, Wolf. I appreciate you bringing that up, but that's what Brian, a comment or 2 ago, was mentioning the same thing, that the Brewers might be super aggressive at the deadline because, for one, the Reds are coming up hot behind them. Mm-hmm. They want to be able to kind of keep that cushion between them and obviously, increase that. But they also see that brutal schedule down the stretch. And just to kind of give you an idea, the Brewers, the last 3 games of the season, let's say it comes down to the final series of the season, Brewers are at Los Angeles. They're at the Dodgers. Reds are at Pittsburgh. So I think we know who has the more favorable schedule when it's all said and done.
What is the Dodgers record right now? Because they're sitting in second place, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now, that's the best division in baseball, not even close. All three of those teams are good enough to win every other division in baseball right now. Talking about the Giants, Dodgers, and Padres. The Giants lead that division, they have 57 wins, and they have a 2-game lead on the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers, they're 56-35.
Okay.
And then the Padres are 53-40.
So you got to think, if that stays tight out there in the West Coast,
tight,
they're still going to be trying to win games. So that means they're not going to be packing in or doing, end of the season call-ups for young players and everything like that. They're going to be playing for something. So this is all working to the Reds' favor. So like you said, if they don't win this division, this is on them because it's setting up perfectly. And like I always like to say about in any sport, you don't have to make excuses for winning. Like the schedule plays out the way the schedule plays out. Players have nothing to do with the schedule. The league makes a schedule. So win the games, get into playoffs, and let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah. And with that being said, someone just messaged why every time we say tight, do we say tight? If you've watched, I'm glad that people pick up on those little annoying things that we do, but Tuco from Breaking Bad.
Tuco Kalamunga.
Yes, sir. When he's snorting meth, as we talk about that from time to time on this show. But Breaking Bad, Tuco, when he snorts the meth, right? Like he starts, tight. So that's why every time I hear someone say, oh man, that's tight, or oh yeah, it's a tight race, I'm like, tight. Every time it's a childish response, but it is what it is. What's more likely to happen? Cue the music. We'll do one or two. Let's start with this one. What is more likely to happen, Kev? The Ohio State Buckeyes losing to Oregon or the Cincinnati Bearcats beating Notre Dame? Which is more likely to happen? And keep in mind, Oregon is at Ohio State.
Right.
Noon kickoff, 9 a.m. kickoff for Oregon, by the way. And Notre Dame is hosting Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And that will be under the lights.
Yes, sir.
So,
NBC.
Yeah, it's not a crappy, boring game like Ohio State, Oregon that you bury on your noon kickoff, right? No. So I love doing this. Which is more likely to happen? Ohio State losing to Oregon or Cincinnati beating Notre Dame at Notre Dame? These are scenarios that many would say are unlikely. But at the same time, when you look at Oregon and you look at Cincinnati, Oregon is trying to prove that they're a top team in college football that should represent the Pac-12 in the college football playoff. And to be there, you have to beat teams like Ohio State. And you're Cincinnati, who's a non-Power 5 program, trying to convince the committee and fans alike and the doubters that, hey, we're undefeated last year. We're going to be undefeated this year. We hope. We want to be, in the college football play. Well, to get there, you have to beat teams like Notre Dame in tough environments at Notre Dame. So both, it's unlikely scenarios, but Oregon and Cincinnati both have a lot to prove. So I ask you this one more time. Which is more likely to happen, Kev? Ohio State losing to Oregon or Cincinnati beating Notre Dame? Which is more likely to happen?
UC beating Notre Dame. It's going to be a tough game for them for sure, but I think they can do it. Obviously, with Marcus Freeman now being the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame and everything like that, he brings blitzes from all over the place. Like this type of style of defense that he's bringing to Notre Dame is going to be a problem in the future. But you still got to think, man, the guys that are on the staff at UC were there last year, and obviously the lead guy is still there, and Coach Fickle and everything like that. So I don't think UC's defense is going to take a step back. So I'm going to roll with UC. I was going to pick UC to beat Notre Dame anyway. So I'm rolling with UC was more likely to beat Notre Dame than Oregon coming all the way out here to Ohio to beat the Buckeyes.
So I find this interesting. Again, if you're just tuning in, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Which is more likely to happen? Ohio State losing to Oregon or Cincinnati beating Notre Dame? Or if you want me to keep this more consistent, what's more likely to happen? Ohio State losing to Oregon or Notre Dame losing to Cincinnati? Cincinnati playing at Notre Dame and Oregon playing at Ohio State. Now, this is Notre Dame's schedule. They open up their very first game of the season is at Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
Then they play the Toledo Rockets. Mm-hmm. Then they play the Purdue Boilermakers out of the Big Ten. And then they play Wisconsin. And then they play Cincinnati. And then they play Virginia Tech. This is I like this schedule. It's a very good. Notre Dame, a couple of years ago, I ripped their strength of schedule. That's never your fault. The strength is, you put teams on and, the strength of schedule is dictated on how those teams perform. But this is a tough schedule for Notre Dame, but they should win at Florida State. Mm-hmm. They should win at Florida. They should beat Toledo. They should beat Purdue. they're going to be. This is why they're not beating Cincinnati. So I think it's more likely that Oregon beats Ohio State than Cincinnati beats Notre Dame. Here's why, Kev. Notre Dame plays Wisconsin the week before. They're probably losing that game. And if they lose that game, there's no way in hell that they lose back-to-back games, especially with Cincinnati coming into town. Now, I will say Cincinnati, ironically enough, Notre Dame versus Wisconsin, that's a noon kick. But the Bearcats at Notre Dame is a 2:30 kick. It's not primetime. It's not under the lights. It's on NBC. But whatever. So that means it's not good, right? That's what we. So that's why, when I look at that, I'm like, I think that Wisconsin's going to be really, really good. That'll be a huge opportunity for the Big Ten if they beat Notre Dame. I just don't see Notre Dame losing back-to-back games, especially because if they lose to Wisconsin, they got Cincinnati on October 2nd, and then they're at Virginia Tech on the 9th. And then they have USC and North Carolina in back-to-back weeks after that. This is actually a brutal schedule. Yeah. Notre Dame's not making the playoff. They're going to be really, really good. They're not making the playoff because this schedule, I think, is what I would love to see who has the toughest. They have to be right up there. This schedule is brutal as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, in Oregon, they're going to be playing desperation football as well. They're going to be on the road. They're going to build themselves up as the underdog because, for one, they are, but two, they're disrespected because, the Fox didn't care about the time difference. They put them at noon, yada, yada, yada. So I think Oregon's going to give Ohio State a good battle. We don't know who C.J. Stroud is. I've said there's 3 programs in college football who I believe have earned the benefit of the doubt of fans trusting the new quarterback coming in. Clemson has replaced Deshaun Watson. They have now replaced, Trevor Lawrence. So, we've seen them go. When a coach wins championships, multiple championships with multiple quarterbacks, with multiple recruiting cycles, they have my trust at that point. Ryan Day hasn't technically done that, but Ryan Day his main job taking over for Urban was to keep the ship afloat, and he's actually made the voyage a little bit sturdier, to be honest with you. So I trust I trust Ryan Day with C.J. Stroud, but it does need to be confirmed first. So I think Oregon beating Ohio State is more likely than Cincinnati beating Notre Dame. But man, if Cincinnati gets blown out by Notre Dame, that is horrible for that conference. It's horrible for the woe is us crowd that's always saying it's not fair and the system's not built for us. The system may not be built for you, but when you have opportunities like this, if you don't capitalize in it, that's on you. When they got beat by Ohio State 2 years ago, 41-0, I thought that should have been enough to shut them up for a little bit. And they were chirping not even a year later that they're being disrespected. The last time you played a real team before the Georgia game, which they looked very good against, but I'm just saying, if you're Cincinnati, you can't keep coming up short against these teams. You played Ohio State, lost 41-0. You almost beat Georgia. Even almost beating Notre Dame's not good enough. You have to get one of these big-time wins. Absolutely. They need to beat Wisconsin. Or they need to beat Notre Dame, I'm sorry.
They got to. If they want to be having a seat at the table, they got to take advantage of this opportunity that they have versus Notre Dame in the fall. And then not only that, they still got another opportunity playing Indiana. So there's tons of opportunities out there for UC on their schedule. And still they have to win their conference. And there aren't, with Memphis and UCF, those teams aren't any slouches either. So, I think they have 4 games on their schedule that can give them some backing, some type of ammunition to bring to the committee to say, look, man, these are the teams that we beat. Name another team that's beat these type of teams that we beat, So we will see.
Here's my problem with that, though. And I've said this is where my elitist mindset comes in. When we say, well, they got Memphis and they got UCF, those are 2 tough opponents. If Ohio State had Memphis and UCF on the schedule, would we say those are 2 tough opponents?
We definitely would say UCF.
I think they've fallen off a little bit from that roster a few years ago. Gus Malzahn definitely helps. So maybe. But my point is look, Ohio State has teams like Penn State and Michigan State and teams like that we just kind of scoff at. Those are really good rosters half the time. So that's just what I mean by Cincinnati trying to convince us that they're adults they want to sit at the adult table, but yet we do say things like, and they got Memphis. Now, Memphis may not be a top 25 team, but that's a dangerous football. We would not say that if Ohio State was playing Memphis. We would not say that if Alabama was playing Memphis or, Notre Dame or Clemson. So that's always what I like to try to remind people about when they say, well, Cincinnati, they'd be really good in the Big Ten. Maybe if we're sitting here actually trying to convince people that Memphis is a game to look out for Cincinnati and their schedule, then
if UC was in the Big Ten, where would they fall?
We'll have to look at that. We'll take a deeper dive into that. We got more of these. We'll get to those on the other side. And that's a good question. This Bearcat team.
Yeah.
But again, this is the block that you start building on. So we'll talk about that when we come back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers and a flood watch, a high near 80. Tonight, rain continues with a flood watch, a low near 68. And tomorrow will be cloudy with showers, a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane, making buying propane easy since 1952, offering budget billing and pre-buy options. Find out more at culletpropane.com.
For the ones who get going when the going gets tough. And the ones who know we're tougher together. For the Pathfinders breaking new ground. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as fast access to experts and 24/7 customer support. Because we know you have people depending on you, so you can always depend on us. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly. If you're ready for an oil change, trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car. Right now, get 5 quarts of Valvoline full synthetic motor oil and a Wix filter for $33.99. Plus, get a $10 gift card after mail-in rebate and double O rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Fire threatens everything in its path. When it threatens our nation and our communities, we respond. We bring the fight to the front line. The Army National Guard stands ready to face the dangers of Mother Nature and protect our homes and our neighbors. We will always be there when your community needs us the most. Discover more about all the ways you can serve part-time in your community by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard. Aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer, and now is a great time to buy. For a limited time, Honda has extended 0% financing on the 2021 Honda Passport, Honda HR-V, Honda Pilot for well-qualified buyers. See me, Sales Manager Jason High, for the complete details. We are located at Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
The Cash Explosion Cash Contest is a nationwide contest for your chance to win $1,000 daily. No purchase necessary to enter or win. You will receive an email confirming entry. One winner will be chosen for each day. Contest is open to U.S. residents 18 years or older. Contest is sponsored by participating Alpha Media, Aptivada, or their parent, subsidiary, and affiliated entities. Advertising agencies, promotional partners, and members of families or households are not eligible to enter or win. Odds of winning depend on number of entries received. Contest is subject to all applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations. Void where prohibited. Participants must sign all contest release and waiver forms to be eligible to win the prize. The contest begins on Monday, July 5th, 2021, and ends on Friday, July 30th, 2021. To participate in the contest, you must listen to the participating radio station at the specified times and enter the word that wins at wingam.com. Contest sponsors are not responsible for technical failures or malfunctions of any kind. For full contest rules, please visit wingam.com. Decisions of station information management with respect to the contest are final.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
Everything you want to hear is on Audible. Stream the bestsellers and the newest hot releases, and stream originals and podcasts too. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
The Reds are on the radio.
Every hit, every strikeout, every Reds victory. You can catch all of the action all season long right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
How long have you worked in radio? Long time. Put it in numbers.
Probably like 17 years.
Damn, you old.
Yes, sir.
You're a walking noon throwback. So this is I started 14. I started in 14, so I'm in year 7. And that seems like a very long, long time. But about 43 years.
How old might be
for Kim Ferris,
the legendary Kim Ferris.
I've never met Kim Ferris, but I've never heard a bad word about her from anybody. So I want to give her a shout out. I've never met her, but again, a Dayton radio icon around here, calling it a career. Today is her last day, calling it a career after 43 years over on Mix. I just want to make sure we give her a shout out again, because in this industry is looking for reasons to let you go, not keep you. So if you survive many, many years in this business, you're doing something right. And when you survive 4 decades, 4+ decades, you're really doing something right. So I just want to make sure we give a shout out to Kim Ferris, retiring after 43 years. How about that, though? Just a Dayton radio icon. Shout out to her and congratulations on the fantastic career. If I can make it to 40+ years, I'll be very, very amazed. And our listeners yeah, I'm surprised you made it this far. So,
I was an intern with Kim Ferris in this building. I was a senior at Wright State, and we had the internship here, everything like that. And like everybody, when I got here, it's like, that's Kim Ferris. That's Kim Ferris. I was like, who? And then I shortly found out who Kim Ferris was and how great of a woman she was and still is to this day. So that's awesome. That's awesome, man. Giving people their flowers. I love it.
So one more time, shout out Kim Ferris. Congratulations on one hell of a radio career. Dayton Airwaves will not be the same. So there you go. All right, the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine, hanging out with you here on a Friday. So you had asked, let's go ahead and dive into this now too, about, Cincinnati, because so a little bit ago, to kind of set the tone a little bit, we were talking about, we did one of those what's more likely to happen scenarios. We started doing that yesterday, but I said, which is more likely to happen, Ohio State losing to Oregon or Cincinnati beating Notre Dame? I think it's going to be really tough for Cincinnati to beat Notre Dame, but this is the type of opportunity that the Bearcats have been clamoring for. They've wanted an opportunity, but to sit there and say they've wanted an opportunity is basically saying that they haven't had an opportunity. They had a chance to beat Georgia, in the New Year's Day bowl game last year, which was one of the best bowl games of the entire playoff season or postseason. I should say
that was the best game.
It wasn't even close. The playoffs are horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting to watch the Buckeyes kick the snot out of Clemson, but it wasn't like a good game, nail biter situation like that.
So, so it's interesting when you look at that, and it's like, okay, Cincinnati, you almost beat it, but I get frustrated with Dayton Flyers fans about that too. It's like, okay, I want to see you beat the good teams, not, oh, we almost beat Kansas in overtime. I know I made people mad during that stretch. I wasn't trying to poo-poo on it too much, but it's like eventually you can't live off of we almost beat so-and-so. We almost beat Kansas with that season. We almost beat Colorado that season. But that's what was so cool about last year is there's been really, really good years for Dayton Flyers basketball where the highlight is them almost beating a really, really good team. And then last year was considered a down year, but they beat Power 5 teams in really good games. That's what was crazy about, how weird and wonky of a season it was for the Dayton Flyers. But the Bearcats kind of are in that same situation. I think they're in a different situation, but similar, where you have programs who are not built to compete with the big boys out there, but they are competing with the big boys out there. And that's what makes UD such an interesting story in the college basketball world. And then, of course, you look in college football, Cincinnati trying to do the same thing, and they're trying to prove that they belong at the adult table with the Power 5 programs, with the elite Power 5 programs like Clemson and Alabama and Ohio State and Notre Dame and others. They have Notre Dame coming up. But the last 3 big matchups that the Bearcats have had, they've lost them all. Or the last 2, I should say. They lost both of them. They didn't just lose. They got blown out, shut out by the Buckeyes at the Shoe 2 years ago. And I remember everyone saying, oh, man, this is going to be a huge test. And by the way, Ohio State's really good. That's what they do. They blow teams out. Okay, it's who they are. But since that's not the point, I know who the Buckeyes are, but who are the Bearcats? Because we are made to feel bad for them every year heading into the tail end of November and into the college football playoff selection Sunday show, where, man, the system's just set up against them. It's not fair for the Bearcats. What else do they have to do? And it's like, what do you mean, what else do they have to do? At the end of the day, I know that we want some kind of mathematical equation to be able to formulate who should be in the playoff, and that's what the BCS system was. It was a computer formula. But overall, common sense and the eye test and a lot of those things have to come into play a little bit here. And the last time I watched Cincinnati play Ohio State, they lost 41-0. The last time I watched them play Georgia in a bowl game, they almost won, but they ultimately lost. Now they have an opportunity coming up after barking as loud as they did about being disrespected last year. They have an opportunity to play Notre Dame at Notre Dame. They have an opportunity to beat Indiana at Indiana this coming up here. So Kev made a comment a little bit ago about, well, let's keep in mind, outside of Indiana and Notre Dame, that they still have some tough games remaining in their conference, being UCF and being Memphis. So I simply asked, this is the problem I have with the Bearcats, is people are trying to convince me that they are one of the big dogs. And I'm like, but if Alabama had UCF and Memphis remaining on their schedule, and we said, oh, man, we got to look out for the Memphis and UCF team, we wouldn't say that about Alabama. We wouldn't say that about Ohio State or Clemson. But with Cincinnati, it's like, well, we got to, those they could lose to those teams. So that's where I'm like, that's where my separation of putting them at the adult table is coming into play here, where if I'm worried about you losing to a Memphis or Cincinnati or a UCF, you're not one of the adults, because hell, I look at Penn State, who is the biggest threat to Ohio State, and I still don't respect Penn State. That's how big the talent gap is and how good of a program Ohio State is. So that's all. Just making it too complicated sometimes. But you did ask a good question about where they fit in with the Big Ten.
Yes, sir. Where do you think UC would fall in the Big Ten Conference this upcoming season? Like if they play the Big Ten schedule?
Well, I do love the fact that they are playing Indiana, and especially playing at Indiana. I think that's going to be a huge, that'll be huge as far as that. I mean, if they split with Notre Dame and Indiana, you would love to, I don't know what's worse, beating Indiana and losing to Notre Dame. And it's like, well, that's a good win.
Catch 22.
Yeah, it's a good win, but you still lost to Notre Dame, and you really needed the Notre Dame win. But then what happens if you beat Notre Dame and lose to Indiana? Right. It's like, well, then who the hell are you? So,
yeah, like you said, you can always find a way to change the argument. You know what I'm saying? But the way you stop that is beating them both.
So you look at, let's start in the Big Ten and the West.
So hold on. Before we do this, are we saying if this UC team was to play this Indiana team or Illinois team, whatever, are we just saying, like, are they a better program? Or are we saying, would they beat them on the field to play?
I mean, I don't know. How do you want to approach this, I guess? Because I guess if we're going to just take this roster as the best roster, since, I mean, is it safe to say?
I think last year's roster was probably better. They lost 2 starters on the offensive line. They got drafted. So I would imagine
Cincinnati did have the best offensive line in the city last year, and I still think they do this year.
So I think that's alarming. And also, you did lose Marcus Freeman and everything like that. So we don't actually know, like, the new defensive coordinator. Like
Phil Steele brought up a good point about that. He said the Freeman impact won't be felt until next offseason.
Yeah. He said recruiter too.
Is because Freeman's him as a recruiter. Yeah. He was a better recruiter than a coordinator, but he was a really, really good coordinator.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll feel the impact of that until later.
I think we should just go off like who would win the game, because program wise, I think teams that play in the Power 5, you can always say they're a better program because they bring in more revenue. You know what I mean? automatically going to have, potentially more 4-star and 5-star recruits because, they don't play. UC plays in the G5 and everything like that. I think we should just go off of who would you pick in a head-to-head matchup.
Fair enough. So we'll go. You got to give us some music. It's Friday, we just need something.
I got to update my board again because I want different music for this, but this will work. This will work.
That's better than the mics. So I'm just saying. Where am I here? Okay, so let's start in the West. Let's start at the bottom. Cincinnati, Illinois, picking Cincinnati right there. One win for the good guys. What about Purdue?
UC.
I'm picking Cincinnati in that one as well. Nebraska.
UC.
Weren't they supposed to play Nebraska last year? I think Nebraska was supposed to play at Cincinnati. They had a Big Ten team coming to Cincinnati last year, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. I swear. Let me just, Nebraska at Cincinnati 2020. Let's just see here. Oh, yeah. They were supposed to play Nebraska, at Cincinnati. Tragic. Oh, no, it was going to be in Lincoln. I apologize. My fault. Nebraska was set to play Cincinnati, and they were going to. But see, here's the other thing. Nebraska, this is why I look at Cincinnati. I'm like, you're not a big school like you think because they were a bye game. Nebraska was going to pay Cincinnati $400,000 to come to Lincoln.
Yeah, as UCLA, how that worked out for them the 2 times that they played UC.
And they were going to lose, by the way. They would have. I would have picked. I mean, I do believe Cincinnati would have won last year had they played at Nebraska.
Yeah.
So, and I think that they would win this year. Clearly, that little Frost thing experiment in Nebraska, it's not panning out the way you had hoped it would.
Yeah, that's scary hours for them. I mean, not only he's a former player there, he won a ton of games. Did he win the Heisman there? I think he won the Heisman. If not, they won a national championship under his when he was a player there.
It's always scary. Like, again, there's always a lot of feels when you go back to coach your alma mater. And I remember when the Flyers hired Anthony Grant, I was like, it always ends bad. And it most likely won't end on, I shouldn't say great terms, like no one's going to speak, but I mean, like, it's never a good thing when you get fired from your alma mater. But you look at Anthony Grant with UD. And the success, that's what made that 2020 season so even more magical is because of the fact that, he did it at the same program that he played at. And it was cool. I remember when game day was here watching Coach Donaher and watching Coach Grant side by side, kind of taking in game day and taking in the atmosphere. It was so cool. But I love that opportunity for alumnus to get to go back and, coach where they played. And it just makes it special. So anything you accomplish with them running the program, it feels bigger. It feels even more special.
Right.
But man, if it doesn't work out, it's like it's a tarnished reputation for a big-time fan favorite. I remember having that same conversation with Marty Brenneman years ago about Barry Larkin potentially, after Brian Price, there was talks of Barry Larkin potentially being the manager of the Reds. And Marty even told me straight, he's like, you got to be careful with that because Barry Larkin, he's one of the most coveted names in Reds history.
Mm-hmm.
And if
fracture a relationship.
And if he takes over as the franchise and they end up being a joke under him, and then all of a sudden the lasting memory you have of Barry Larkin is, oh man, they need to get him out of here. Get rid of Barry Larkin. I remember when Marty said, imagine during his playing days uttering the words, get Barry Larkin out of here. And you risk doing that if you manage a team. So I always thought that was interesting. You always got to ask yourself, when you want to go back and coach your alma mater, you are on a pedestal when you come back to your old campus. Do you want the lasting memory of you to be, get that guy out of here? Anthony Grant was beloved by everybody. When his time is done at UD, hopefully it's on his own terms and he either retires or he accepts another job, which people won't be happy about. But if he gets fired, it's going to be people saying, get him out of here. Patrick Ewing at Georgetown. Can you imagine ever? So when Marty put it in that perspective, I was like, yeah, that is kind of crazy. Imagine Georgetown fans saying, get Patrick Ewing out of here. You never thought you would have heard that back in the day. Anyways, all over the place. Where are we?
No, just Scott Frost, 2-time national champion at Nebraska. He was a backup to Tommy Frazier in 95 and the starter in 97 when they won the national championship. So, yeah.
So, again, Cincinnati and Minnesota. I pick Minnesota. Cincinnati, Wisconsin. I'm picking Wisconsin. Cincinnati, Iowa. I'm picking Iowa.
I would pick Iowa, even though I hate them.
5 years ago, I would have picked Cincinnati in this next matchup, but Northwestern I would have to pick over Cincinnati at that point.
This Northwestern team, I would go with UC.
Okay.
Sean Slater's in the NFL. Newsom's in the NFL. Got a new quarterback. I would go with UC.
Michigan State.
UC.
And Cincinnati. I'm still picking Michigan State. I just can't pick Cincinnati over Michigan
You just
State.
hanging on to the year that they beat Ohio State. You're going to hang on to that forever, ain't you?
It's still Michigan State. The players are better. The overall talent's better.
I don't think it is.
Michigan.
UC. I'm not picking the names. I'm picking what I see on the field.
Cincinnati.
You just did that because you don't like the team up north. But I don't care. I like
But I'm tired of the Cincinnati's so great talk too. But whatever. Rutgers.
UC.
Yeah, they Rutgers.
Yeah, those dudes ain't coming in until next year.
Fair enough. All right, Cincinnati. Maryland.
UC.
Maryland would lose to Cincinnati.
Okay.
And then Penn State, Indiana, Ohio State. I'm taking all of three of those over. I still think Indiana wins. Mainly on a normal year, I wouldn't pick Indiana over Cincinnati, but I am this year just because of Penix Jr. But Cincinnati has talent too. But I like Penix Jr., man. And they got a lot of really good transfers on the defense as well. Cincinnati will be tested by Indiana. A win over Indiana, it'll be good. I don't think Cincinnati will get the respect they deserve for beating this good Indiana team, but that Notre Dame game is a must. They have to win that Notre Dame game.
So basically, they will be middle of the pack.
I mean, just because you say that they would beat Illinois and Purdue and these guys doesn't mean that they would beat those guys.
But they have better recruiting, since you love recruiting so much, than Indiana, than Illinois, than Iowa. So they recruit better than them.
I mean, Michigan, look how many NFL players are in the NFL. Look how many NFL players Michigan's been spitting out. That don't mean a whole hell of a lot.
I know. And that's why I say I go by what I see on the field. I'm not going off of, they're Sparty, man. Look what they did. They went to the college football playoff 8 years ago. They beat Ohio State.
That's not why I think Michigan State would beat Cincinnati. I just, look. Nope, not today, Satan. Not today.
Have you seen Michigan State play football?
Have you seen Cincinnati when they play real teams? They lose.
Yeah, I've seen them play. I've seen them play football. I've seen them play good football. And
when they play teams like them.
I've also seen Michigan State score 7 points in an era where they basically let you play flag football.
Because of who they play.
No. Not who they play, or how they play.
But who they play. I mean, I'm just saying, Cincinnati would not be undefeated. If they're in the Big Ten,
I didn't say it was undefeated. I didn't say they're undefeated.
Thing is,
I just don't think that, oh man, if UC join the Big Ten, they'll be the worst team in the Big Ten. I think they would be a comparable team. I think they would be middle of the pack.
So, but we don't respect the middle of the pack teams. No one looks at Nebraska right now and says, "Oh, that's a good, solid Big Ten team." If we're going to say Cincinnati, they're a good, solid Big Ten team.
It's
obviously the Buckeyes.
It's 3 tiers to it. Ohio State is on a tier all to itself, right?
Yep.
Then you have your Penn State, you have your Wisconsin, and then there's a drop off after that. I think that UC could be in that second tier.
Could or would?
I think UC would be in that second tier.
Not.
Because from everything that we see from these big team schools, these name schools, Michigan State, they don't perform on the field. They don't perform on the field. And Michigan State has been out-recruited by UC. UC recruits very well, especially these last 2 years.
And they have done what with it?
They won games.
Okay. Have they won playoff games? Championships?
They definitely won
championships. They've been in some close ones with Memphis.
See, that's what I'm saying. We negate the things that they do, but if they lose a game, so if they do win a championship from their conference, it's their conference, it don't matter. But if they don't, you lost your conference. It's a catch-22. You can't win. You can't win, and unless you win every single game.
Let me tell you a story.
Oh boy.
When I played basketball, I never pretended to be very good. I knew I wasn't very good, but I never pretended to be very good. So when I would get playing time and I would score, Everyone to go crazy. Oh, little Kenner over there. Look at him doing his thing. It was a great story because Kenner, he's not cocky. He's not arrogant. He doesn't, pretend to be better than what he is. It's just a good story. But if Kenner would say, oh, man, coach don't know what he's talking about. He, man, we'd be undefeated if he'd play me more. And then I go out there and I go 2 for 12. Now everyone would be like, oh, what happened, Kenner? I thought you were so good. You went 2 for 12. But if I don't do the chirping and I go 2 for 12, it's because it's Kenner. I mean, it's what he does. But, he's trying so hard. But the only reason I would get backlash is because I would be running my mouth. Well, that's what Cincinnati and their fans and the American Conference, they do this. We're being disrespected. We're one of the big boys. We are sitting at the adult. Well, you can't say that and then go lose 41-0 to Ohio State. You can't say that and then go to Notre Dame this year and get beat by double digits. So I'm with you. And I thought that Georgia game did a lot to shut people like me and people up. But I wish they would have closed it out. It's a hell of a game, though.
One of the guys that got drafted off the offensive line. I know the offensive line ain't a sexy position, and people only talk offensive line when they do something bad. That loss was on him. They were controlling the line of scrimmage, and when he got kicked out the game for that punching the Georgia Bulldog player, the line of scrimmage just basically changed because they had to put in the
penalties. He wasn't disciplined.
It was bad. It was all she wrote. And they basically were flinching. He was false starting all over the place. He wet himself. The backup wet himself. And, you hate to put a loss on one guy because obviously a game goes on and a million different things can happen. But we can all tangibly see, hey, man, you as a starter, you were handling your business. They were running to the left and they were running well. And then when they had to put the backup in, they couldn't do anything right because they were starting every single drive 1st and 15 because he kept false starting. So obviously not trying to put everything on that young man. He was trying his hardest, blah, 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 blah. The starter, that's on you, bro. That's on you.
And what using Bengals fans' logic here, the backup would have been, better if they had a wide receiver. And a kicker. Just saying, that's Bengals fans' logic. He wasn't that bad. They just needed a Jamar Chase type wide receiver to beat the top over the defense and blah, 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 blah. That's my new impression of Bengals fans. By the way, every Bengals fan to me talks like this. The offensive line's not bad. They got a good wide receiver in the first round of the draft. That's my new, but from now on, that is the voice of Bengals fans. No matter who you are, it is what it is. The Wolf on YouTube says UC loses to Indiana and Notre Dame this year. And he didn't just put period. He spelled the word period in all capital letters with a bunch of exclamation points afterwards. The Wolf has spoken. The Wolf also says that OSU, by the way, has the 47th toughest schedule this upcoming season. Clifford wants to know, Kev, I know you all have been talking about Space Jam at some point during your show today. Who else do you guys think could pull off the star role? I get it being LeBron, but who else in this era could have pulled this off? Cliff, do you mean like basketball? Or do you just mean athletes in general? I read an article yesterday that one of the creators of Space Jam says that they would love to work with The Rock. So would Space Jam be like would they go wrestling?
Wrestling. I mean, look, of course he wants to work with The Rock.
And I heard someone say, this ain't Fast and Furious. You don't need to be spitting one out every other year.
Of course you want to work with The Rock. The Rock is gold at the box office. Rock is in a movie. He's in is he in Jungle Book? Not Jungle Book.
Wasn't he?
Is he in Jungle Book? It's a new movie coming out that he's in with
I don't know. Jungle Book's already out.
Yeah, it's a different movie. Whatever. He's in the movie with Emily Blunt. It's coming out very soon.
Not a movie, guys, so I'm no help here. My bad.
It's all good. But it's going to do crazy numbers because The Rock is that guy. People love The Rock.
I don't like The Rock in movies. It's all scripted and fake. I liked him in wrestling better. Hour 3 next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Tired of deciding what to cook tonight? Frickers is ready when you are with everyone's favorite ribs and frickin' chicken chunks. Tender baby back ribs and frickin' chicken chunks, only $12.99 dine-in only. Take the day off as kids 10 and under eat free every day. And you can relax and let Frickers take care of everything. Baby back ribs, frickin' chicken chunks, and kids eat free at the one place that makes lunch, dinner, or late night easy. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Baby back. Baby back.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Body Shop Manager at Germain Honda of Beaver Creek. When you need a dependable body shop, we're here to help, repairing all makes and models. Our technicians have over 125 years experience. That means we can repair your vehicle quickly and efficiently. Our department is state-of-the-art with new equipment to get you back on the road quickly. We offer loaner cars during service and free estimates. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
When the doctor told us about my mom's cancer, it made me feel so helpless. Until I called the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and spoke with Grace, who answered all of my questions about the disease, treatment options, and cancer-related expenses. Her support and compassion made us feel whole again. Today, I'm calling Grace to let her know my mom is beating cancer. To learn more, visit lls.org.
Hey, we get it. You don't want to be hearing a Progressive commercial right now, so let us tell you something you do want to hear. You are powerful. You're a warrior who bathes in your enemy's tears. Then you step out of that refreshing tear bath and into a bathrobe that somehow looks good on you. Yeah, you can pull off a robe. There. Don't you feel better? You'll also feel better when you save money for driving safely with Snapshot from Progressive. Savings you can use to buy more robes. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California, North Carolina, or from all agents.
This is a big deal. Now, at healthcare.gov, millions more people can afford health coverage. Due to the COVID relief law, 4 out of 5 customers can get a plan for under $10 a month with financial help. From doctor visits to preventive services to prescription drugs, these are quality plans. You can do this. You can have coverage as soon as August 1st if you sign up now at healthcare.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Want free Reds tickets? How about a free MLB Network Reds bag? Maybe a Reds bobblehead? Here's an idea. How about we combine them all together and give you a chance to win a free WING Reds prize pack presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Register daily at wingam.com.
At Lowe's, we know your home is an expression of you, and we see you walking down these aisles of possibility, running your finger on that marble top Allen & Roth vanity, regularly $5.99, but now $3.49, and finding that perfect rattan pendant at an everyday low price of $99.98. In our showrooms of style, you'll find whatever you're into at a price you'll really get into. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowes.com for details. Valid through 8/29/21. U.S. only.
Daisy sheds like crazy. Our hairballs have hairballs. Marquette Mama, she has dandruff and an oily coat. DINOVITE.com. I was thrilled when I heard Dynovite for Cats was coming out. If you love your pets as much as I do, you want to do what's best for them. Dynovite is a life changer. Lately, she's been a lot more playful, a lot more energetic, more active.
Dynovite for life.
You won't believe how happy your cat will be.
DINOVITE.com.
O'Reilly. When it's a warm day and your car's AC is blowing hot air, you need some relief. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and talk to our professional parts people about AC Pro refrigerant recharge kits for your vehicle. Buy now and you'll get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate. Keep cool this summer with AC Pro refrigerant at O'Reilly Auto Parts, in store or at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So, just gonna be totally honest here. I'm already thinking back to school, and I just got the most amazing deals at Kohl's. Like, I got $60 Converse sneakers for my son, 25% off Vans for my daughter, 25% off Nike for both of them, and I got an extra 15% off. Picked up some Kohl's cash too, which I'm for sure keeping for myself. Gotta treat yourself every now and then, am I right? Select styles, 15% offer ends July 25th. Some exclusions apply. See storekohls.com for details.
Staples Connect has everything you need for back to school at amazing prices. Right now, 8 packs of Pep Rally No. 2 pencils, Staples pencil cap erasers, and Staples comp books are just 50 cents each. So your student won't just be ready for school, they'll be first day of school pop quiz ready.
It's showtime.
Visit your local Staples store or staples.com/back to school today and get more than ready for school with amazing prices for everything on your list. Ends 9/18. Pencils in store only. Offers may vary online.
Brantley Gilbert returns to Ohio. Live in concert. Rose Music Center at the Heights, Friday, July 23rd. It's going to be one hell of a night with Brantley Gilbert. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com and the Rose Music Center box office. The album Fire and Brimstone is available to stream and download now. Check more at BrantleyGilbert.com.
Don't wait to get a new job. Express Employment Professionals is hiring for more than 35,000 jobs. Find your local Express office at expresspros.com or on the Express Jobs app.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle. WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local. We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, we are back. Hour 3. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Friday. So, Clifford asked a good question. He said, he goes, who else would you guys think could pull off the star role in Space Jam? He goes, I get it being LeBron, but who else in this era could have pulled this off? And I don't know if he just means basketball player. Well, I'll be honest, nobody. I don't think any other personality would have worked in today's game. Kevin Durant's really, really good, but we don't ever hear his name be brought up.
Kevin Durant had a movie already.
With what? Mike?
No, I think it was called Thunder Rock or something like that.
That
it was
good,
a basketball movie.
I bet those bed sheets were 10% off or whatever it was. That was still the craziest. I mean, look, I have some bad takes, but to sit there and say Space Jam is going to fail because Walmart has Space Jam bed sheets already on clearance and they're just trying to get rid of it. I mean, that's crazy. It is what it is. But
yep, Thunderstruck came out in 2012.
Huh. Yep. Interesting. So, what other athletes can you see a Space Jam type film being built around? Like LeBron, he's not just an athlete, he's bigger than an athlete. Like his name just resonates around the world. Like I don't think there's another NBA player active right now that his name resonates around the world. I don't think KD does.
No.
That's no disrespect. It's really hard to get to that.
KD isn't that type of personality to be out there like that all the time. I would say like the only other guy that I think that they could have. Yeah, Steph. Steph is like the only other guy that I think could like lead it with, and I mean, Steph, yeah. That's about it.
Baseball, none. There's not a name that resonates around the world. I mean, we did just see the impact of Shohei Ohtani, not just talent-wise, but we did see his name carry a lot of weight. You want to know why? I've heard Stephen A. and many sports commentators talk about the lack of promotional depth that all baseball players have.
Right.
I've heard him call out different, like Mike Trout and others. The only one that people took offense to was, now again, it's the way he worded it that it was offensive. I get that. But like Shohei Ohtani's the only player, like I say all the time, Mike Trout's not a very like marketable figure. Don't get put, well, Shaw, but Shaw, I could say it's raining out and Shaw will say the sun's out. So he doesn't count. But like the point is, like I've heard many sports commentators bring up how, Mike Trout's just not marketable. He doesn't connect with the audience. There's just no draw power. There's no power there. But you criticize Shohei Ohtani, and everyone came out of the woodworks to defend him right away. That right there should. I don't think he would be good in a Space Jam type film, because the translator. No, I'm just joking, But right, like I don't think
they said he can speak English.
No, he does speak English. What he does is because So I know this sounds funny. This was a prime example here. So Giannis Antetokounmpo the other day in the post game said he had a bathroom attack in the middle of a game, and he goes, is tinkle the proper word to use? Like, he didn't know which proper word to use. He goes, is that polite enough to you? Like, is that? And someone brought it up. He goes, well, that's an example right there. If he wasn't familiar, like he speaks English, but in America, what is the proper context and how to say I had to go use the bathroom? Like, remember Lamar Jackson he had a potty break in the middle of the Browns game, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, when you grow up somewhere else, even like if you're using different type of slang,
that's why he uses the translators to make sure that there is no miscommunication. Yeah. So I didn't know that. Like, so Shohei Ohtani, it was fact checked on that. Yeah, he has a translator, but that's mainly done to make sure that the communication is being given properly because he's in LA.
Right.
If he was in Minnesota or maybe a smaller market, he maybe wouldn't need a translator because media is not cutthroat out there where they're trying to spin everything you say. But if you're in New York or you're in Los Angeles, you probably need that translator to make sure that what you are saying is being, depicted properly. Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons they said he has a translator is to make sure that there is no miscommunication in any kind of message that he's delivering. But no, polarizing, I mean, not polarizing, but he's a big name in baseball, a superstar in baseball. There's no one in baseball I think could pull off the space. There's no one in baseball that is at LeBron or Michael Jordan's level. Tim Tebow, I wouldn't be all excited about it, but Tim Tebow.
And that would be the guy that you would go to in football?
No, I'm just throwing out a name in football.
Oh.
Like, I think in football, Patrick Mahomes is getting close. I think he's there. I think he's getting close. Like, I think we're a year away to where it's definitive.
Right.
Tom Brady, for sure. Peyton Manning, post-playing days, for sure.
Thinking. The only one that I probably would go see, like, oh, man, I would be excited, would be Patrick Mahomes out of those dudes. Like, Peyton Manning. Yeah, Peyton Manning's funny. I always forget his appearance on SNL.
That
Peyton
dude's something else.
Funny dude.
He's something else. That guy's something else. Patrick Mahomes, I think, is close. What about Joe Burrow? By the way, I'm telling you guys now, this is new to the show. That is my new Bengals voice. That is me being you.
But you know what? Whoever the star would be, like in the NFL version of Space Jam, you got to have Marshawn Lynch in there. Like, you can have the star because the star is the star and he brings in everybody else, but you got to have that guy, that
character.
Yeah. And
you need
Marshawn.
those, like in the original Space Jam, you had Charles Barkley and guys like that. By the way, the tall white guy in Space Jam, Sean Bradley. Was that the guy that Tracy McGrady dunked over, or was the 7'6" dude?
Yes.
That was a random dude to have in there, by the way. Who else was in that? Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley,
Muggsy Bogues.
But see, that's where the Sean Bradley thing just threw me off. Like, that was such a random dude to throw in that. Do you know who's the side guys in the second one?
Dame, Anthony Davis, Clay, Diana Taurasi, and
interesting.
What's her name? Sister, with Golick.
Agumake.
Yeah, her sister. Yeah.
You really can't pronounce names.
Yeah, I can't pronounce her name. I'm sorry.
I wish they need a radio show of Giannis Antetokounmpo and Shade Agumake.
Agumake, yeah, but Agumake, the older one.
There you go. Agumake Antetokounmpo.
You're good, man. I give you credit. I give you props, man.
Yo tengo la clase de español en la escuela. There you go. They're not even Spanish. I'm just saying I don't even know what that had to do with anything. I'm just showing off now. So, anyways, no, Steph Curry's good. Dame. By the way, Jungle Cruise. There was the movie earlier we were talking about when it came to The Rock.
Yes.
The Rock would be. I would like that's an outside the box thing. The Rock and John Cena, I think would be yes, because the wrestling element, but like actually kids gravitate towards that. Like that's how those two became so big, anyways. Was that? But John Cena or The Rock would be good in either of those films. The reason I say The Rock is because last night I came across an article that said that one of the creators of Space Jam, when he was asked at their little reveal party last night about what star he would love to work with if there was a third one, he said actually The Rock would be, but he said it in like a passing, like it was in passing, it was just kind of like, oh, The Rock would be fun, like, and I believe that he would. Shaq, Shaq even after all these years would be entertaining as well. That's another big name that but no, there's no outside, you're right though, outside of Steph Curry there's no other globalized branded name in basketball. A lot of superstars in basketball, but no one that would resonate to be a face of a box office film like that. LeBron makes sense. Steph Curry definitely could, which Steph Curry is the most random one. Like Michael's no surprise there. LeBron no surprise there, but Steph Curry, just a guard from Davidson to go from that to this is pretty that's pretty cool. Speaking of, it's about Dame time. Reports coming out today that he is going to be requesting a trade soon.
Mm-hmm. And he just said, I woke up to all those reports. A lot of people are reaching out to me, but it's not true. I'll start off the rip by saying it's not true.
Good.
Unless you hear it coming from me, it's not true. I haven't made my mind up. I haven't made any firm decision about my future or where I'll be playing. It's not true.
Yeah, but there's a lot in that. But see, that's why these guys that like when you don't say anything, you say a lot. And if you say something, you say a lot. It's like you're screwed either way in this social media driven world now, because what Portland wants to hear is, I'm going for a championship in Portland.
Right.
If you don't say that, you're saying you don't want to be in Portland. Like that right there, I know he's thinking that, I haven't said I don't want to play Portland. You just said you don't know if you want to play in Portland, which is in essence, like I always say this. If your significant other comes up to you and says, are you happy? And you say, well, I mean, I haven't said it. I haven't said I'm not happy. I don't know if I'm happy. You basically just you started World War III right there. That's what this is. He's done nothing wrong technically, but don't be surprised now at the backlash moving forward, because same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Well, I haven't said that. I don't know if I haven't said I'm not coming back. But you're manipulating the media, and you're getting offended when people ask you questions, but yet you're purposely not answering the question that everyone wants to know, and don't say you don't know what you want to do.
And just like you said, it's a catch-22, because you talked about the Aaron Rodgers. He's out in front talking. He has said nothing, and then you get all these rumors. So the only people that need to really be concerned are the Portland Trailblazers. And if he's communicating with them and he's not communicating with the outside world, then he's still the bad guy, or still like, well, what are you going to do? You haven't said what you're going to do. Well, and then he makes a statement and like, well, does that mean you're leaving? Like, it is the off season in the NBA is a marketing tool all onto itself. Like, there's 3 seasons in the NBA. It's the regular season, the postseason, and free agency. And then you might as well throw in trade season.
So look, the finals are still going on right now. The draft is coming up here in a few weeks. Summer League starts about a week later. We'll be talking basketball, and then with the Olympics going on, NBA talk will officially after, and then free agency happens a little bit after that. Mm-hmm. So you'll have free agency, and you'll have the draft, you'll have free agency, you'll have Summer League, you'll have the Olympics, everything wrapping up by the end of August. When's the Olympics end?
Olympics, and I want to say that first week of August. Let's see.
So
they start a week from today.
So then the Olympics ends at the end of August, and then Summer League's going on after that and some of you are rolling your eyes at that, but Flyers fans, I'm telling you, you're going to see Jalen Crutcher on the Summer League roster, and I watch Summer League basketball. I mean, for one, the build up to the draft and the players, you get to see them right away. I remember I couldn't wait. I still remember watching Carmelo and LeBron in those Summer League games and D-Wade before we really knew who D-Wade was. But I remember watching D-Wade. It is what it is. But the bottom line is, so the basketball coverage is really going to end in mid-August.
Yeah. Olympics run Friday, July 23rd, so Sunday, August 8th.
So the NBA will be, it's being talked about now. It'll be talked about in August. September, it'll calm down, and then camps start in October, and the season starts in November.
Play ball.
It's a very, and then to come off that COVID season and to go right into this extended season that started later, and then to have the Olympics, and then to push the draft back, and then it's just, it's going to be another 2 years before things are back to normal as far as the timeline for the NBA season is concerned. The NFL, that's why they were adamant. We're going to take some bumps along the way, but we are starting on time. Last season, we're starting on time and we will end on time. And that's what they did. And this year, that's why they have the smoothest transition. Their draft was on time again. Their preseason's on time again. It's a little shorter because they added the game to the regular season. But the NFL was adamant, we're not adjusting our timeline because it's not just a 1 year adjustment. It's going to have a ripple down effect for the coming years. And that's what the NBA is trying to do right now.
3 games in 1 week, go play.
So is what it is. All right. It's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. But that Dame Lillard thing, keep an eye out on that. I think that's interesting. So Kevin Love, he opts off he opts out of the Olympic season. He just goes, he's not going to go to Tokyo.
Calf injury. Yeah.
So it was an injury. Just retire, dude. Retire. I'm not mad at you for being injured, but eventually you just got to stop. Eventually it just becomes too much. The dude hasn't been healthy even before LeBron left Cleveland the last time. It's tough for Cleveland. It's tough for him. It's tough for everyone. You can't count on him. And it's not like we're ripping you for it, but it's the reality of it. You can't say, we can't hold injuries against him. We're not holding your injuries against you. We're holding your availability against you. Same thing on the job.
He'll be playing on a team, a contender next year after February. After the Cavs buy him out, he'll be on a contender.
Yep. Portland. Actually, that's not a contender. What he'll do is he'll be a part of the Colin Sexton trade to Portland. You get a third team involved. There you go.
Shoot, he's from Portland. Well, where is he from? He's from somewhere up in the far north. I'm almost positive. Let's find out.
Yeah,
since we're all over the place today.
And this has just been a free-for-all Friday. There's no doubt about it. So anyway, so bottom line, Kevin Love no longer on the Olympic roster, and then Beasley off the roster as well. So they had to make some changes there to be able to kind of make some, add 2 new additions to the roster. Keldon Johnson,
San Antonio,
added to the roster, as well as JaVale McGee.
Yes, sir.
Now people are ticked off about this, and I said actually that these were smart moves, because this reminds me a lot of, when we talk about the 5 stars, when we talk about college. So sometimes the March Madness, the sexier teams are who we always talk about. We talk about the Dukes and, with the Zion Williamson years ago, that everyone's like, they're winning it. They got Zion. I'm like, they're not winning. I knew Duke wasn't going to win it that year because, for one, this is why I was getting annoyed with UD fans in 2020 where, man, we were going to win a national championship. No, you probably weren't, because the best team never, ever, ever wins the NCAA tournament. It never works that way. It is you know what I mean? It never works that way. So it is what it is. It's not even an opinion. It's a fact. The best team never wins the NCAA tournament. It's really, I'm not saying it's luck, but it's why it's so crazy. That's why, you don't want to know why stations like us say, we're going to give you $1 million if you fill out a perfect bracket. You know why we have the guts and the cojones to do that? Because we know y'all mofos ain't never going to get it right. So that's the thing. Do we even have the $1 million? No, I'm just saying it's not even technically our station giving it away. If our station had it to give away, we'd be asking for more ourselves. Let's just be honest. This is a stupid winner, and Dayton doesn't need $1 million for filling out a bracket. Damn it. Come on. So you know what I mean? That's what's interesting. So we always think that the better roster is always going to win this. Right. And this is proof. And we're falling into that trap now of, well, how does Team USA lose an exhibition game to Nigeria? You have Kevin Durant. But it's all about execution. It's all about the team chemistry. It's all about how you perform out on the floor. So I love that what they have done is they've added Keldon Johnson, very good defender, and just a very good overall role player that's developing into a star, by the way. And then you have JaVale McGee, the ultimate role player. And that's what this team needs more of.
Yes, sir.
Because let Dame score, let Kevin Durant score. Let those guys take care of it. Let them take care of the scoring, because now you have JaVale McGee, who's going to be a post presence. And again, not your Shaquille O'Neal type post presence, but you know what he's there for is to be big and tall to block shots, So that way when he does it, it's what he's supposed to do, kind of like Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is why that is not one of the best blocks of all time in the finals, in my opinion. But anyways, you are tall and you have a 9-foot wingspan. You should block shots. That is what the last thing I'm going to say there. But I do like these 2 new additions. They're not coming in and having to basically redrop the playbook now. It's like, now you guys just to come in, accept your role, go play your role to its fullest, and let the scorers take care of business, help us out defensively. I think Team USA is fine.
Oh, I love the JaVale McGee situation. I'm not gonna sit here and act like
I forgot he started the year with Cleveland. By the way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I've watched a ton of San Antonio games, but I have seen JaVale McGee play a ton.
Can't
Obviously,
even say McGee.
Yeah, I'm bad. Obviously, his Wizards days, his Lakers days, his Golden State days, his Cleveland Cavaliers days. He's been around the globe of the NBA. But you know what? He's a role player in the NBA, and his role in the NBA is to block shots, rebound, and run the floor. That's exactly what he's going to be doing with this team. So the way he plays basketball isn't going to be any different. We talked about this the other day, like players have to adjust to different roles. Like, hey, man, this is what I do on my team. I score the ball. I come off the high pick and roll and I do my thing or whatever. Well, no, we need you to do this on this team. And it takes a second to adjust. There's no adjustment needed for McGee. Do what you always do. Block a shot, run the floor, you open, dunk it. That's all he's going to do. And that's what he does in the NBA. So he's a perfect match for this team. And that's what I always talk about in sports in general. Like you just said, with teams with talent. Obviously, you want to have the team with the most talent. That goes without saying. But a team and people actually knowing what they're supposed to do and knowing their roles. Like I heard I was listening to my brother and my cousin talk about it. We were having a conversation about the Olympics and this whole situation. It's like, you know what? What if they even just took the team that won the NBA title and put them in the Olympics? Because, you know, you look at Jay Crowder, he's not going to be doing anything besides playing defense and shooting threes. Look, Mikal Bridges, playing defense, shooting threes. Devin Booker, your job is to score the ball. That's it. Like you have clear, defined roles. And JaVale McGee's role for his entire NBA career has been rebound, block shots, run the floor, dunk.
That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do.
And last thing on this, and we'll move on from it, but keep in mind, like, and I said Beasley earlier, Beal. So Beal being out, by the way, you almost had too much scoring because you had it's not that you have too much scoring, it's you have three scorers who also don't bring anything to the table defensively. You know, the Redeem team, and you had LeBron and Kobe and D Wade and Carmelo and those guys. Carmelo wasn't a good defender, but Kobe was a hell of a defender, and he was their closer. LeBron was a all-around defender, all-around scorer. He gave you everything. You had Dwight Howard down low. It was the perfect comment. That was the best team since the Dream Team, and that team was out freaking standing. I mean, it was like legitimately dominant. Like they had absolutely everything you needed. This team had three scorers, but three guys who can't play defense. Beal can't play defense. Durant's not a defender. I mean, he's a defender, but not a lot. Not defender,
but not like all right, man, I'm about to lock you up.
But not, yeah. Like he makes good. I mean, he's very good on the help side. He's very good at rotation. He uses his length properly. Yeah. But now it's okay. Now you bring in a defender now. Mm-hmm. So that's a defender you're going to have on the floor a long time. It's like, well, he's not a scorer. He didn't need to be a scorer. Yeah, let Durant and let Dame take care of that. So there you go. All right.
Look what I found.
A little new mix in there. I love
new
it.
Old mix.
So Scott Whetstone on Facebook says he loves the Bengals fan voice. Yes, I have debuted the Bengals fan voice, which is perfect because I need Bengals fans for this next part of the show. So based on the offseason for the Cincinnati, it wouldn't be a day on the Justin Kinner show with Kev Nash without Kinner bringing up the Bengals offensive line now, would it? So based on the offseason for the Cincinnati Bengals fans all the time, Kinner, the offensive line, it's so good now. They added a 1-year, 30-plus-year-old veteran. I mean, come on, he's going to be awesome. Joe Burrow, I mean, he will not get hurt because of the Jackson Carman, they ignored all the really good offensive linemen and they took him because he's close by. He's from the area. Love Jackson Carman. Bengals fans, you are acting as if this offensive line is all of a sudden just going to turn around and be great this year. Because they are. No, they're not. Listen to me. ESPN just put out their list for ranking. So we ranked tight ends this week. We ranked wide receivers and running backs, quarterbacks. Well, Jeremy Fowler, NFL writer, put out he ranked all the offensive lines in the NFL. And I'm here to tell you that your Bengals didn't do so well. Sorry. We'll be back in a moment. We'll discuss next. Go Bengals.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather. This afternoon will be cloudy with showers and a flood watch, a high near 80. Tonight, rain continues with a flood watch, a low near 68. And tomorrow will be cloudy with showers, a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Who doesn't want instant gratification? If you're looking for satisfaction, there's no need to wait. Credit Karma Money is a brand new checking account where you can win cash reimbursements for debit purchases. And when you make a purchase between July 1st and July 23rd, you'll be automatically entered to win $1 million. Go to creditkarma.com/winmoney. That's creditkarma.com/winmoney. Instant Karma sponsored by Credit Karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rules. Banking services provided by MDB Bank Inc. Member FDIC. Maximum balance and transfer limits apply.
Marcus by Goldman Sachs offers personal loans with no fees, ever. Banks offer coffee. So what's more important? A Marcus by Goldman Sachs loan with no fees that could help consolidate debt, or bank coffee that tastes like bank coffee. You can money. Visit Marcus.com to learn more about saving, borrowing, and investing from Marcus by Goldman Sachs.
Investing involves risk and investments may lose value. Brokerage and investment advisory services by Goldman Sachs & Company, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Lending and deposits products provided by Goldman Sachs Bank USA. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Service Manager, Germain Honda of Beaver Creek. When you need service, we're here. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays from 6 to 8, and Saturdays from 7 to 5. We proudly offer a state-of-the-art facility with factory-trained technicians, clean waiting room, and service department. Loaner cars are available during service, and free alignment checks with any service. Be sure to stop in and ask for our $39.95 oil change special. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, State Route 35, east of 675, between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Rittal North America LLC in Urbana will be hosting on-site walk-in interviews every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in July from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Rittal offers great pay, benefits, and has immediate openings seeking experienced welders, machine operators, paint unloaders, and paint loaders. Attend one of the on-site walk-in interviews at Rittal or apply today by sending your resume to Katie McKee at mckee.k@rittal.us. That's mckee.k@rittal.us. Rittal is proud to be an affirmative action and equal opportunity employer.
OHMB 803342 and MLS 04138. Do you need help with a loan to purchase or refinance your home? Have you applied for a home loan and been told you do not qualify for a loan? Are you a first-time buyer and have questions regarding the home buying process? Are you considering refinancing your existing home? Do you live in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, or South Carolina? If you answered yes to any of the above questions, you need to call Forrest Ferris at 3rd Street Financial Home Loans at 513-320-5911, who is available 7 days a week to help you. We're 3rd Street Financial Home Loans, and Forrest Ferris specializes in approving home loans banks and other lenders cannot or will not approve. Some of our clients might have low credit scores, been through a divorce, want to buy a home for sale by owner, are in a land contract, or dealing with probate or estate homes. Call Forrest now for a free estimate. 513-320-5911. That's 513-320-5911. Offer valid for purchase or refinancing of homes located in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, and South Carolina only. Minimum loan amount $60,000. Limitations and restrictions apply.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of My Pillow, here to tell you about my Giza Dream bed sheets. I made sure that they would be everything you'd ever want in a sheet set. I started with the world's finest cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region where the Sahara Desert, the Nile River, and the Mediterranean Sea all meet. The long staple cotton makes my Giza Dream sheets ultra soft and durable. They come with extra wide pillowcases to fit over any pillow and extra deep pockets to fit over any mattress. Not only that, they come with my 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And now you can get the best sheets ever for the best price ever. When you buy one of my Giza Dream bed sheet sets, you'll get another one absolutely free. I personally guarantee that they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
Go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listeners square and use promo code SKY, S-K-Y, for this amazing special, or call 800-635-1825 and use promo code SKY.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays at 3 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
So the Reds are out on the field right now warming up, so there is some positive news there. But again, just some it's going to be – I'd be very surprised if this game does not enter some kind of rain delay tonight. And, I want there to be a game so bad tonight. We are not going anymore. I'm not going to risk driving all the way to Cincinnati and then paying for parking, paying for food, drinks, just to sit down and be told, oh, yeah, the game is being pushed back to tomorrow. From a game strategy standpoint, I really don't want to see the Reds warm up a starting pitcher and then get a couple innings in and then have to stop and then rely on the bullpen. Like the Reds can lose tonight if they have to rely on their bullpen for 6 innings, 7 innings. So that's why I don't want to see this game start and then have to come to a complete halt. And then the delay is so long that you can't use your starting pitcher the remainder of the way. So I really hope that they end up, if they play tonight, get the full game in. I think that's unlikely. I would not mind at all if they just tried to salvage this thing by doing a doubleheader tomorrow. In fact, I think that fits the Reds. I think that helps the Reds even more doing it that way. So, are you leaning? No. You just getting comfortable, getting set. Yeah. So a little bit ago, we talked about Jeremy Fowler. He put out his list of top offensive lines heading into the season. You can hit the music, but what's funny? I see this a lot. Bengals fans, you're getting real chirpy on social media. You've been chirpy for a while. Jake Whiting, love the dude. He's a great dude. Never met him. He seems like a nice guy. I keep seeing him tweet this and Facebook this. Anytime I say something about the Bengals or anything about the Bengals, and I see him going after other critics of the Bengals saying, oh, man, you better not lose. You better not lose to the Bengals this year. That's all I got to say. You better not lose to the Bengals this year. If they lose to the Bengals, which I don't anticipate happening, if they lose to the Bengals, it doesn't mean the Bengals are better than the Browns. So let's just get that out of the way now. The Browns lost to the Jets last year. The Jets are the number 2 pick in the NFL draft. The Jets weren't better than the Browns. They upset the Browns one week. Last year, the Kansas City Chiefs only had 2 losses in the regular season, Kev. They lost to 2 non-playoff teams. They lost to the Chargers, and they lost to the Raiders. The Kansas City Chiefs were 14-2. If you combine the wins from the Raiders and the Chargers, they only have 1 more win than the Chiefs. And the Chargers and Raiders are not better than the Kansas City Chiefs. So, Jake Whiting, stop with the better not lose to the Bengals this year. If they lose to the Bengals this year, that is the highlight of your season. And it's a speed bump for us. But then we'll just still go on to win 13 games, win the division, and go to that thing called the playoffs that you guys have been searching for over a half a decade now. Thank you for playing along. I like you, Jake. I'm just saying. My goodness. The Wolf says, Justin, your freaking voice of Bengals fans, outstanding. Thank you, Mr. Wolf. So Jake says, wait, so now if you beat a team, you're not better than the team you beat since when? Are the Jets better than the Browns? Oh, wait. They're not. The Jets also beat the Rams last year. Are the Jets better than? No. In fact, there's this nice little tournament called March Madness every year. Okay. And Who did Ohio State lose to this year?
Oral
Roberts. Oral Roberts, the coolest name in all of college athletics. Oral Roberts. They beat Ohio. Are they better than Ohio State? Does Oral Roberts have a cool little chant like OH? Do they generate the revenue that Ohio Have do they have NBA players? Do they have the roster? They upset Ohio State. Upsets happen. Like last year, the Bengals beat the Steelers. The Bengals are better than the Steelers. They just beat the Steelers. Upsets happen. It is what it is. So Bengals fans, enjoy by the way, it's 0% on a scale of 1 to 10. The percent of, that didn't even make sense. A scale of 1 to 10 with the percent, it's 0. On a scale of 1 to 10, the chances of beating the Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals, 0. There's a better chance that it snows at Great American Ballpark tonight.
This Ohio, you never know.
That's true. I shouldn't tempt old Mother Nature. She could be quite mean sometimes. I tell you that way. But okay, so we all know the story. Cincinnati Bengals are bad. They get a good quarterback. They don't address the offensive line. Kenner says, hey, you might want to address the offensive line. Bengals fans say, oh, Kenner, you don't know what you're talking about. The offensive line is fine. Pro Football Focus said they were one of the better offensive lines the second half of 2019. They're going to be fine. Kenner says, no. He's going to get hurt. You get a franchise quarterback and you don't value him whatsoever. You don't even try to protect him, and you throw him out behind that crap offensive, and he gets hurt. And then Kenner says, see, I told you he was going to get hurt. And then what do Bengals fans do? Instead of saying, oh, Kenner, you're right, they say, oh, you're such a horrible human being. You're excited that a human being got hurt. You're such a horrible person. Really, that's how you're going to spin this? You're going to try to question my morals and all this, instead of just saying, Kenner, I was right last year and I'm right this year. The offensive line is not very good. Now, if you don't believe me, I'm not the only one that thinks that. So let's take a look, shall we? So projecting the NFL's best and worst pass protecting offensive lines, according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, ranking the pass block, win rates for the 2021 season. And to no surprise, the Cleveland Browns are number one. I mean, come on, it's the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns come in at number one. They have Jedrick Willis Jr., Joel Bitonio, Treader, of course, Wyatt Teller, and Jack Conklin. Because, the Browns invested and went out and got Jack Conklin. They did a good job with their, when they draft guys, they actually pan out, So that's what happened. So it's to no surprise that the Browns come in at number one on this offensive line list. The Packers, Kev, come in at number two. They have Josh Myers. And Josh Myers is projected to be a starter on the number 2 offensive line behind the Cleveland Browns, of course, because no one's better than the Cleveland Browns. So the Green Bay Packers have Josh Myers on that number 2 rated offensive line. Again, this is why I don't agree with Aaron Rodgers when he acts like they don't give him any weapons. It's a privilege to have an offensive line in football. It's a privilege to have the number 1 wide receiver in football.
So this is strictly pass blocking, or is this overall?
What? Sorry, I was reading.
You doing a show with Facebook.
I'm on my ADD. It's a Friday, but what you ask?
So is this just rating or based off of pass blocking, or is this based off the whole kit and caboodle pass blocking and run blocking?
This one's pass block, but it also talks about it comments on their run blocking ability too. But we know that the Browns have the best pass and run blocking ability in the NFL. Let's just be real. Coming in at number 3. And the Chiefs aren't high on this list at all. The Chiefs are at number 6. That's high. But number 3 is the Cardinals. So Kyler Murray has an offensive line, solid run game. All right, good wide receivers, solid names on the defense, and they still might be the 4th best team in that division. That's crazy. The Seahawks come in at number 4, which is a good thing for, of course, old Russell Wilson. Number 5, the Buffalo Bills. No surprise there. That was one of their strengths. Of course, they're looking to add a run game to that mix because we know they have Stephon Diggs, one of the top wide receivers in all of the NFL. You have an emerging star, if not already, emerged. He's already here in Josh Allen. To have that offensive line, and they're hoping that with this run game now that they're going to be able to really take it to that next level, and I think they have the pieces to do that, so we'll see what happens there. Any comments on the top 5 so far?
No, I'm good. Mine are a little different because I didn't know this was like really focusing on pass blocking, so continue.
So, and then Jake Whiting says, this list is whack. This list is whack. Outside the Browns at 1, which is fine. Oh, wait, my bad, Jake. You're being nice. My bad. I'll take back the Bengals voice for a second. He said the list is whack. Outside the Browns at 1, which is fine. That's clear. They have the best line in the league. Oh, that must have been painful, Jake. But let's get to some of the worst ones, shall we? Because that's really what we're all here for. The Chiefs come in at number 6. This is, again, the pass block win rate and everything like that, just based on the projections of with all the grades, like the stat and nerdy stuff of all this stuff. But either way, the Eagles come in at number 7, the Rams at 8, Colts 9, the Texans come in at 10. So who's their quarterback right now that's not Deshaun Watson? I forgot who they even went out and got.
Me.
Yeah, me, you, anybody. So now the big question is,
Tyrod Taylor signed with them, though.
So last year when I talked about the importance of upgrading that offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals, you were supposed to go out and get really good big names, right? That's what this team was supposed to do. The Bengals were all in on these big names on the free agent market. Joe Thuney, Orlando Brown. You look at some of the big names. Orlando Brown was a trade, of course, to the Chiefs, but Joe Thuney. Even Kevin Zeitler. There were names out there that Bengals fans were just so locked in on getting. And then when they didn't get them, instead of saying, man, my team screwed up, which there's nothing wrong with saying that. Bengals fans, why can't you just say, yeah, my team's pretty dumb for not doing that. I'm really mad at them for that. You do this whole, she didn't break up with me. I broke up with her. That's what you guys sound like. He didn't want us. We didn't want him. Joe Thuney, he's overpaid. If you would have paid him what the Chiefs did, you would be like, oh my gosh, they're investing in Joe Burrow. I love it. I love it. I love it. But when other teams pay him what you weren't willing to pay him because other teams actually value the talents and the priority of protecting the quarterback, you make dumb excuses like, well, that was too much money. He got overpaid. It's called overvaluing your quarterback, right? That's what you got to do. So they didn't do enough, in my opinion. I've been getting beat up by Bengals fans for a while now because of that. Your Pittsburgh Steelers have the worst offensive line in football. So Bengals fans rejoice. You no longer have the worst offensive line in the division or the league. In fact, they have improved. The Bengals offensive line has improved. Here are the teams that have a worse offensive line than the Cincinnati Bengals. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the Miami Dolphins, who actually went out and they drafted the guy that they should have gotten, by the way. Let's just be honest. The Lions, the Lions got the guy that they really wanted, but the Dolphins have a bad offensive line. The Lions have a worse offensive. The Jets, Jets, the Panthers, the old Titans. And by the way, this is a prime example right here. Titans fans, and my friend Schrody tried telling me that, when they let go of Conklin, they didn't go. Then when the Browns signed, Conklin's not very good. You're not going to like him. He's not going to be very good. I'm sorry, Schrody, I can't hear you. We're all the way up at the front of the line. You're all the way in the back. The Titans, all of a sudden, who they were too good for Conklin, have the 5th worst offensive line in football. I will say, the Cincinnati Bengals have the 23rd best offensive line in football. That means they could say, oh, yeah, well, you think we're bad. There's 7 other teams worse than us. 9 other teams worse than us. 8 other teams, whatever. So there's that. They come in at number 23 on this list. Their projected offensive line, of course, Jonah Williams, Quentin Spain with Trey Hopkins there, and then Jackson Carman and Riley Reif right there make up that offensive line. Look, this is the write-up on the Bengals offensive line. It goes on to say that we're projecting improvement for a Bengals offensive line that struggled to protect Joe Burrow in 2020. There's some draft equity in Williams, back from 19. Jackson Carman, not bad, but it is hard to imagine how this could become a particularly strong line in 2021. I agree, Jeremy Fowler. I agree. It is very difficult to imagine how this offensive line can, in any way, or fashion, or form, become a particularly strong line in the National Football League. I just don't see it happening. And then they say, and then Jake, yeah, only getting better with Frank Pollock at the helm. I get so tired of hearing that too. This is the same thing with Derek Johnson with the Reds. Derek Johnson, he's a great pitching coach. He was a great pitching coach in Milwaukee because they had great pitchers. Well, why are so many pitchers getting worse under Derek Johnson with the Cincinnati Reds? It's because he doesn't have good pitchers. Because I don't think there's anyone out there that just knows how to magically take bad players and make them good. I think that there are position coaches who could come in and maybe tweak some things to maybe improve a tad bit, but we're not talking worst in the league to best in the league. There's no one out there that can do that. That doesn't exist. It's called talent. That's how you win, is with talent. There are bad coaches who don't know how to coach that. But give me a break with this Frank Pollock stuff. There's way too much. I've never heard anyone say, we didn't draft good offensive linemen. We didn't sign good offensive linemen in free agency, but we got a good offensive line coach, and that's what's going to make us good this year. Stop. You know what made Frank Pollock a good offensive line coach? Good offensive lineman. You know what makes the Browns offensive line coach really, really good? Good offensive lineman. It's amazing how every time we say, who's the best coaches in the NFL? The coaches with the best freaking players. It comes down to the players. No coach out there wants to take over a roster with bad players and then be held to with the accountability of, are you going to win games? No, because you don't have good players. And the Bengals don't have good offensive linemen. They might have one or two that they can kind of tweak and maybe work with, but sit there and act like it's going to be enough to allow Joe Burrow to play all 17 games. Come on. He says it's how the offensive linemen are developed. How they're developed. So talent. So they're just a little big ball of clay, and he's going to mold them into good offensive linemen. No, they have to have talent, and there's nothing about this offensive line that has ever proved that there's any talent on it. So there we go. I'm done. It is what it is. Improvement. You go from the worst offensive line in football to the 23rd best offensive line in football. I guess that's a win. That's like, it's a Cincinnati thing. Oh, we didn't beat Georgia, but we almost beat Georgia. We should be in the playoff next year. They're going to play Notre Dame this year. We're going to lose by a field goal. My gosh, I hope the committee paid attention to how good we looked out there. We almost beat Notre Dame. And then here's the Bengals fans. We had the worst offensive line in football. We signed Frank Pollock, and look, now we've improved 8 spots. Look out, world. But the most important thing that we did all learn is the fact that the Steelers have the worst offensive line in the NFL. Is that accurate, by the way? Do you think that's what? I don't think that's accurate.
I don't think that's right because, there's been addition by subtraction. You got rid of the entire offensive line except for one guy, Zach Banner, who was hurt all season. He injured his knee in the first game of the season, and you got rid of guys that weren't good last year. So the whole offensive line is being revamped. So I don't know if you can say that they have the worst offensive line when they've never even played together yet. Like, we haven't seen this unit play together, and everybody knows something about offensive line play. You don't necessarily have to be the most talented. You just have to be the most cohesive. So if this unit is cohesive, then they going to be better, and obviously going to be better than they were last year. I don't see how they could be any worse than they were last year. Not only they couldn't open up holes, they couldn't pass protect, they got penalties left to right. So they can't be worse than they were last year. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but keep in mind, as we learned today, it's all about how they're developed. They're developed. We got more from Jake Whiting. That's 100% accurate. Addition by subtraction. If that's the case, the Bengals are in great shape because Bobby Hart was awful. Yeah, Kev, I don't know if I'm buying what you said either. So your bad offensive line last year is better because you lost some of them and replaced them with not so good offensive linemen?
No, you replaced them with dudes that were better than them. Okay. You got starters from other teams.
Oh, now, but see, that's the thing. I didn't buy that from Bengals fans. I got to buy that from you. Because that's what Jake and Bengals said. Oh, they were in the draft. Right? They're graded as starters. Well, Bobby Hart was a starter for a while.
The reason it's going to be better is because 2 of the guys that were on the offensive line last year aren't in the NFL anymore.
Who signed Bobby Hart, by the way? Jake, help me out. Drop that in the little comment section.
You've been wrecking Jake for 45 minutes. You think he
brought it upon himself. He brought it upon himself. Now, so the thing is do you think that anyone else out there that has Bobby Hart is saying, yeah, but he's a starter. We got a starter. We got Bobby Hart. He's a starting offensive. No. Kev, you Steelers fans are starting to fall. You lose to the Browns and your whole world. By the way, you guys lost to the Browns in back-to-back weeks.
Oh, Lord. You really saying that?
It happens. Now you see you're still sounding.
I just say, hey, man, what you want me to do? I'm just a fan. I don't go out there and play. I don't go out there and snap the ball or drop the ball left and right. The Browns.
That's Ebron.
Deontay
OBJ.
Johnson, hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But the joy of it is we'll see you on the field twice this year, and we'll see what happens.
Holy moly. It's been a while since I beat up on the Bengals offensive line, but
I hate the Bengals 47 minutes.
Oh, yeah. It's the I Hate the Bengals hour right here on 1410 Wing AM. 1410 ESPN Radio. All right, we'll step away for a few moments. On the other side, we'll take a look at the lineup for tonight's Reds-Brewers Game 1. Second half of the season going to start tonight, which we cannot wait for. I hope that they get the full game in. My big concern is starting the game, getting a couple innings in, long rain delay, and then not getting a long outing from Tyler Mahle. That's my concern as far as that goes, because I think that when you really look at it, if the Reds have a delay and they don't pick up play, let's say they resume the third inning or fourth inning at like 9 or 10 at night, and they don't have their starter and they have to go to the bullpen, and now you're, to start the second half of the season with a below average bullpen, to have your below average bullpen start the second half of the season with a heavy workload, that's not a good start. That's not a good start. Even if the Reds end up winning, you still don't want to already start the second half of the season off overworking your bullpen. It wouldn't be David Bell's fault. It would be the weather. You can't control it. So it's like, I want to see the game, but man, if it means moving the game to tomorrow to have a double header to make sure the game gets played and the Reds, less innings for the bullpen to screw things up, that's always a good thing too. When there's 7 innings, that's why I'm like, I don't like the 7 inning double headers, but for right now, I do. Less innings for the Reds bullpen to screw up. Bengals fans want Joe Burrow in Space Jam. I believe I could fly. I have a really bad offensive line. I think about it every night and day. Damn it, I really wish I had another line planned. Well, I'll work on it. We'll be back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Tired of deciding what to cook tonight? Frickers is ready when you are with everyone's favorite ribs and frickin' chicken chunks. Tender baby back ribs and frickin' chicken chunks, only $12.99 dine-in only. Take the day off as kids 10 and under eat free every day. And you can relax and let Frickers take care of everything. Baby back ribs, frickin' chicken chunks, and kids eat free at the one place that makes lunch, dinner, or late night easy. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Baby back. Baby back.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Save today in your next project with 11% off everything now at Menards. Masterforce has accessories for all your power tools, from saw blades to sandpaper, from drill bits to drive bits, and everything in between. Right now, get 11% off all Masterforce power tool accessories. Save today with 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through Saturday, July 17th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards. Napa know-how.
Get 20% off 3 or more items with the $2.99 Napa Bucket. Yep, save on wipers, headlights, brake pads, motor oil. Wait, how long is this list? Wow, floor mats, boat batteries, towing parts. I'm not sure we have time to read all this. Let's just say save 20% on a lot. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations, exclusions apply. May not be combined with other offers. Offer ends 7/31/21.
At Lowe's, we know your home is an expression of you, and we see you walking down these aisles of possibility, running your finger on that marble top Allen & Roth vanity, regularly $5.99, but now $3.49, and finding that perfect rattan pendant at an everyday low price of $99.98. In our showrooms of style, you'll find whatever you're into at a price you'll really get into. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for details. Valid through 8/29/21. U.S. only.
You know, a few days ago while hanging out with my family, I noticed my father staring blankly at me. Something's not right, I thought. Is he having a stroke? Then I remembered to act fast, F-A-S-T, and did this quick test. F, face. I asked my father to smile. One side of his face drooped. A, arm. I asked him to lift both arms. No problem there. S, speech. I asked him to repeat a phrase. His speaking was slurred. T, time. I called 911 for immediate help. This way, he began receiving life-saving treatment in the ambulance. My father was out of the hospital in a few days, all because he made it to the hospital within an hour of his stroke. Practice recognizing the signs of a stroke so that you can act F-A-S-T, fast, to save a loved one.
This message is brought to you by the Ohio Department of Health's Covered L Stroke Program.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow, here to tell you about my Giza Dream bed sheets. The long staple cotton makes my Giza Dream sheets ultra soft and durable. They come with my 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And now you can get the best sheets ever for the best price ever. When you buy one of my Giza Dream bed sheet sets, you'll get another one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use promo code SKY, S-K-Y, for this amazing special.
Great values are happening now during Lowe's Summer Savings. Save on select appliance special values. Plus, save an additional $50 when you buy 2 or more appliances, $396 or more. You'll also find new lower prices on ceiling fans, landscape lighting, and more. So shop Lowe's today. In-store must ask cashier to apply discount. Must purchase 2 or more appliances, each totaling $396 or more. Can't be combined with more discounts. Savings varies based on eligible total purchase. See Lowe's.com for restrictions. Valid 7/15 through 8/4. U.S. only.
Staples is evolving to Staples Connect, a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Friday. Only a couple more minutes with you here. So earlier we had a question about what star athletes today could we see be in a Space Jam 3? All right, Michael Jordan, obviously in the original. I'm a big LeBron James fan. I can even admit, I don't think that you're going to watch Space Jam 2 tonight, correct?
Yes, sir.
I don't think it'll be better than the first one, but it doesn't mean it will be bad. I think it'll be different, sound different, look different, everything. So I don't think it'll be better, but I think it'll be really good. There's nothing. People act like, well, it's not going to, he's not better than MJ, as if that makes him bad. Like when we're talking about on the floor, and we do that all the time. If so-and-so is not better, if so-and-so is better than somebody, that means the person that is not as good as the other one we're saying is bad, right? Like that's not necessarily what this is, but it was a good question about who we believe could be, what athletes out there could carry the weight of being in Space Jam 3. Cause I don't think anyone outside of LeBron is strong enough to do it. Steph Curry, you mentioned, I think actually probably could. But there would be zero shot that a Steph Curry Space Jam would touch Michael Jordan at all. LeBron, you could at least understand why people are expecting it to, right? So that's kind of where we're at when it comes to that. But so we're asking, and of course, Bengals fans are, well, Joe Burrow would be great in Space Jam 3. He's very popular. Bob, stop. He's not popular outside of Athens, and he's not popular outside of Cincinnati. Baton Rouge, go Tigers. Go Tigers, And Buckeye fans need to stop taking credit for old Joe Burrow. He's a Tiger through and through. In fact, I want the Bengals to change their name to the Tigers because he's a Tiger. He ain't no Bengal. He no Buckeye. He's a Tiger. So, yeah. But no, he's Joe Burrow. Give me a break. So earlier, I was joking around about the I believe I can fly. So Jeff McFerrin, he filled in the words perfectly. He says, I believe I can fly. I believe I have a bad O-line. Oh, look at you. You got it all queued up and everything. But I can't. I have to wait for it till I get all lined up. Does it have the words in it? I thought we can't play this. I thought we couldn't play this on the air.
It's just the beat.
It's not R. Kelly, because R. Kelly, we can't play R. Kelly, but we he's not playing the horn in the background. I'm not going to sing on the air. I haven't been drinking. This is Kinner Karaoke here on a Friday.
You missed the opening.
No, because there's so much else going on right here. I don't know if I can. Well, let it play, but I believe I could fly. I believe I have a really bad O-line. I think about it every night and day.
Let's get on beat,
I wish the pain in my knee would go away. I believe I could soar, but my O-line, it's like having an open door. That's excellent writing by Jeff. Shout out to Jeff.
We're going to get into the studio. We'll have it ready on Monday.
It's going to be a Kinner edition. And I have pipes of an angel. I'm just saying. It's like Fergie and Jesus. This show has been stupid from start to finish today. I was told this week that nobody listens anyway. So I can get away with that then. That has irritated the hell out of me all week. Don't care. We can move on from that. But here's the lineup for tonight. The Reds and the Brewers. Game 1 of a 3-game series. Second half of the season officially kicking off tonight. At least we hope. We hope that the weather will allow this. Great American Ballpark is going to be electric. I hope that the weather doesn't keep people away. It kept me away, unfortunately. But I hope it doesn't keep everybody away. Leading things off for your Red Legs, Jonathan India. At second base, he'll bat first. Batting second and in left field will be Jesse Winker. In right field, batting third is Nick Castellanos. At first base and batting in the cleanup spot, Mr. Power himself, Joey Votto. Tyler Naquin will get the start in center field tonight. He'll bat fifth. Eugenio Suarez, can he get that average up? Can he get a good start to the second half? We'll find out tonight. He's batting seventh, and he'll get the start at third base. Batting eighth and behind home plate tonight, the catcher, Tucker Barnhart, and at shortstop, batting eighth is Kyle Farmer. I'm all over the place here. My apologies. And Tyler Mahle, the pitcher, batting ninth for your Reds. One more time, the lineup: Jonathan India, Jesse Winker, Nick Castellanos, batting 1, 2, and 3. Batting 4, 5, and 6 is Joey Votto, Tyler Naquin, and Eugenio Suarez. 7, 8, and 9 hitters belong to Tucker Barnhart, Kyle Farmer, and your starting pitcher tonight for the Reds, Tyler Mahle. Reds Brewers, 7:10 first pitch, 6:40 the pregame, right here on Dayton's home of the Cincinnati Reds. Kev, have a great weekend. Enjoy Space Jam 2.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Oh, look, the Wolf says, I only listen to you guys and Zubin, Keyshawn, and Jay Will, two best shows on ESPN. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And he says, nobody listens. I do every day. So we got one. We got one. Have a great weekend, folks. Go Red Legs. Have a great weekend. We'll do this again next week.
It's the